Blog Talk Radio.
Here we go. Blast off.
This is True Capitalist Radio. True Capitalist Radio.
I am your host, the man they call Ghost.
The badass of business.
Give him capitalism or give him death.
That's it. Period.
Broadcasting from his Skyline office studios in beautiful downtown Austin, Texas.
You sound fruitier than a box of Fruit Loops, for Christ's sake.
And now, he'll take it from here. Your host, the prognosticator of prognosticators, the man they call Ghost.
Going, folks, and thank you for tuning in with me to another edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. This is episode number 455. Number 455 for all the folks that are keeping track of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And before we get into anything else, I'd like for everybody to please spread it around like wildfire and let everybody know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. And we are live every Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And it is blogtalkradio.com/ghost. That is blogtalkradio.com/ghost. This is episode number 455, by the way, number 455. And if you haven't done so, please follow me on Twitter, all right? The Twitter name to follow is PoliticsGhost. All one word, no underscores. PoliticsGhost is the name to follow, all right? Let me tell you something, folks. It is President's Day today. I want to salute, first and foremost, the President of the United States, and not to mention the manifestation of the capitalist revolution, none other than President Donald Trump himself. I'm telling you, this is a man against the world, and it is a tough battle. And that's why, folks, if you want my personal opinion, this show needs to get a little bit more serious. You know, in my personal opinion, this show needs to get a little bit more serious and a little less, catering to tards, for a lack of a better term. Now, with that being said, I think that's the direction that we're going to turn to at this point in time. And the reason is, folks, is because we are in a very precarious situation in American history. If we, and I mean the Trump train, does not get off its ass and start combating the outright lies that are happening in the mainstream media, we could end up in a very bad situation, to say the least, as it pertains to our president. So that's why each and every one of us that is listening to this broadcast, whatever kind of influence that you have in the realm of the internet, whether it's a blog, whether it's some kind of a social media account, whatever it is, a website, whatever it is, we need you to help each and every one of us so that we can help perpetuate the news, the real news, not the slanderous lies that's being portrayed on this boob tube talking head mainstream media. We have to do this, folks. This is not a joke anymore. I know there's a lot of people out here think that just because Trump won the election that, that's it. It's not it. I mean, look at the left. They're not stopping. Look at the globalists. They're not stopping. Look at the establishment political class system. They are not stopping, and that's why I'm calling on you. If you are a part of the Trump train, we cannot stop either, folks. We can absolutely not stop. All right? And look, we're going to dedicate the majority of this show to talking about how exactly the right wing can kind of bring itself together, and not just bring itself together on a platform, so to speak. Because if you want my perception, the right wing of the political spectrum, it encompasses a lot. It encompasses a lot of different ideas and variants therein. But in my personal opinion, folks, I believe that we do have a very, very central focal point that all of us can get behind. All right? All of this can get behind, for Christ's sake. So that's what we're going to get into later. The markets were closed today, folks, but I'm going to give a little bit of an analysis of the markets at this point in time. Right now, the futures are looking towards the positive side for tomorrow. And according to all the business media, it looks like we're going to see another rise for whatever reason in the market tomorrow. And it was Zero Hedge, which, folks, if you have not followed Zero Hedge or you don't go to their website and basically read the material that they have, even if you don't agree with them politically, the business media that they put out is just unbelievable, especially about the markets. They are starting to understand, like I have understood for many a months, that this market is overinflated, and not only is it overinflated, the volume is leaving the market. And for whatever reason, this market continues to be propped up. There was an article put out this weekend by Zero Hedge basically showing the rise in a graph chart, the rise of the S&P 500 as it pertains to the inflated, over-speculated value, but then it takes a look at that same chart on top of the rising S&P, the lowering volume. The volume is almost down to nothing in the S&P, and yet it keeps rising. That's why I keep telling you, folks, it's not a matter of if, it's when. When the hell is this contraction going to happen? And when it happens, the more and more this over-speculation happens in this market, the higher the price it's going to cost for folks that are holding the bag at these high prices. So that's why I am saying I'm sitting on cash right now, and I'm waiting for that contraction. And people are, kind of criticizing me online, saying that I'm kind of rooting for a crash in the market. I'm not rooting for it. I know it's coming. The fundamentals of finance is showing that a financial contraction is about to happen, and not just the equities market, but in the real estate market. And when that happens, I'm sitting on capital. I'm going right into the market, baby. I am accumulating blue chip, high yield dividend stocks because that's what you do. That's how Warren Buffett became one of the top 3 richest men in the world, just basically utilizing that strategy. His strategy is when everybody leaves the market, you go into that damn market. And that's just the basic fundamentals of the market. Buy low, sell high. It's very, very simple. And I always said that long-term investment reigns supreme. Long-term investment creates wealth. Long-term investment makes and signifies that you own, that you have net worth. As much stock that you have accumulated in your portfolio, that's the value of who you are, believe it or not. That'll get you more attractive loans with better interest rates, better credit lines, that sort of thing, folks. So it's very important that you amass a net worth when you're a capitalist. Like Gordon Gekko said, as a matter of fact, the Inner Circle and myself, we saw Wall Street 1 this past weekend. Like Gordon Gekko says, money isn't won or lost. It's simply transferred from one perception to the next. Because that's really what money is, folks. Money is a symbol of a payment for one's goods or services. And it just basically transfers itself, spawning a motivating, creating, and innovating type of activity, a machine, if you will, that enables the progress of mankind. Never in the history of mankind has the development of the human condition has been far beyond anybody's expectation, created a better society than under the idea of capitalist economic systems. Capitalism has done far more for mankind than any system has ever conceived. This includes feudalism, monarchism, I mean, this includes communism, socialism. None of these systems have helped facilitated the betterment of mankind better than capitalism. And that's why I am a capitalist till the day I die. Because capitalism, it nurtures the idea of creativity. It spawns the idea of innovation. I mean, this is what we need to understand, that the ideas that I'm trying to convey on this broadcast are rooted in the economic system of capitalism. Rooted completely in the economic idea of capitalism. That's why I try to convey these ideas, because I'm not only listened to in America, I'm listened to by hundreds of thousands of people throughout the world. And they themselves are starting to hear these ideas and say, you know what, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. Why haven't we tried this idea from where we're at in the world? What can I do to help perpetuate this idea? And that's why I do this broadcast, folks. I'm going to be completely honest. I know that radio graffiti and Twitter shout-outs, I mean, it lures a lot of, for a lack of a better term, childlike behavior. But it was that childlike behavior about 5 years ago that basically enabled the kind of inner circle that yours truly has comprised today. And I'm proud of it, and not to mention the capitalist army as well. I mean, we have a lot of members in the capitalist army that conduct themselves in a very, very digital revolutionary-esque capacity. But at this point in time, when you take a look at Twitter shout-outs, and, well, I'll still do Twitter shout-outs, still got to do that. But when you take a look at radio graffiti, it's almost juvenile, and that's why I use the word tard. It's very tardy. You know, it's you know, perpetuates a very simplistic perception. And, you know, maybe not, I don't know yet. Maybe we should just take that away for a while. Maybe we should take that away for a while so that people understand that this freaking show is serious business. I mean, it wasn't but a month ago, remember? We were talking a little bit about this guy named Alexander Dugin, which is known in Russia as Putin's brain. Lo and behold, here a month later, after we break the story, all right, Dugin's all over the place, all over the media, for Christ's sake, all right? I mean, he's all over the place on Bloomberg News, The Independent. Alex Jones interviews this psychopath, for Christ's sake. I mean, it is not a coincidence, folks. I know that a lot of people out here claim that, oh, this show is nothing but a bunch of trolls congregating. I beg to differ. As a matter of fact, I think that this show has more of an influence on politics and economics than anyone can imagine. All right? Anyone can imagine. So as far as I'm concerned, I have been seeing a spike in listenership whenever I just could completely just kind of eliminate radio graffiti and the juvenile crap. And I'm not trying to say that we won't have fun. I'm not trying to say that we're not going to have conversations that could end up in an arena that could be viewed as comical or humorous or whatever the case might be. But as far as I'm concerned, I think that, radio graffiti at this point in time is not conducive to what yours truly is trying to perpetuate on these internets. So I'm going to tell you all this right now. If you, for whatever reason, need your fix of radio graffiti and you can't help it and, oh, my God, and this and that, well, you may just have to wait. I'm not getting rid of it forever. But at this point in time, man, we are in such a serious paradigm in the American system that we need to hurry up and become serious about what's going on around us. And look, I'm all for Trump. I will lay my life down for Donald Trump. All right, let me repeat that one more again. I would lay my life down for Donald Trump at this point in time. He is a manifestation of the capitalist revolution. That's why his cabinet is the richest cabinet in American history. This is a capitalist revolution like no one else has ever seen. No one else has ever seen. And that's what I'm so excited about. And that's why I want to perpetuate these ideas, for Christ's sake. So with that being said, let's take a step back here. We were supposed to be talking about the markets today, but the markets are closed today because of President's Day. And I do want to warn people that I believe, according to what I'm reading in the business media, these investors are going to continue to pump this goddamn market up. And I think that the more they pump this market up, the worse the fall is going to be. There's going to be a lot of people holding the bag at 20,600 points that are not going to see those prices again for at least another 5 to 10 years, in my opinion. I am not a buyer in this market. I'm still a buyer of gold and silver, obviously. I would also take a look at the crop reports of the Department of Agriculture and take a look at potential scarcity in any type of commodity, and take a look at any kind of ETF, ETN in coordination with that commodity. These are the kind of investments I'm thinking about at this point in time. As a matter of fact, I would also encourage folks, if they have enough capital, to try to start a small business right now this year. And, of course, do your due diligence, man. Make sure that you have enough capital. Make sure you know what kind of business you want to get into. Make sure that you like the business, and make sure that you want to profit from actually starting the business. But the reason I suggest this is because the tax plan that Donald Trump has been proposing throughout the campaign in 2016, it's going to come to fruition. And when this tax plan comes into fruition, business owners that are already established in fiscal years 2017, these are the people that are going to reap the initial benefits right off the bat, right as these tax cuts are just initiated to the economy. And look, that's what I'm waiting for. I've got businesses. I'm waiting for it all, baby. You understand? Donald Trump's administration is going to be the tenure. They're going to be the presidency where I am going to get unbelievably filthy rich, and same with the inner circle, all right? I'm telling you, within the tenure of Donald Trump is going to be the tenure of the capitalists. The tenure of the capitalists. I'm telling you, this is a capitalist revolution. And by the way, just to underscore the capitalist revolution, all right, Davos, all right, the Department of Education secretary, there was an article that was written that I tweeted out this weekend in which they suggested that Davos wouldn't be any skin off her ass, for a lack of a better term, if the Department of Education was completely dismantled. What did I tell you? I've been talking about this since 2008 and 2009, man. I've been talking about just everything that the Trump administration is doing. I have been discussing for years. And that's why I'm so excited about this administration. That's why there's no time for games. There's no time for man-child activity. There is no time for this crap. We have to get serious. And if we don't get serious, the damn left is serious, the globalists are serious, the damn establishment is serious, so on and so forth. That being said, folks, that's why I am possibly going to take a break on Radio Graffiti, okay? Now, I know that there's people already tweeting, come on, Radio Graffiti keeps people listening and widens your audience. I don't want that type of widening audience anymore, okay? Y'all can go watch Pootie Pie, and y'all can go watch all those little Fruit Bowl man children shows. I don't really give a crap, all right? I'm not trying to say we're never going to have fun in here anymore, that Radio Graffiti is gone forever and all this crap, but at this point in time, I am not catering to tards anymore. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry.
Over 90% of all Fortune 500 companies share one thing in common. You can find a Veridesk on their desks. Here's why. Research says sitting is the new smoking. But people who stand more and sit less say their back feels better and that they're more productive. Veridesk is crafted to last a lifetime. It's height adjustable and there's no assembly. All the details are at Veridesk.com. Veridesk.com. The original Veridesk. Join the movement.
I'm serious. I'm not joking. Look, I'm just not catering to tards anymore. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I mean, to be honest with you, what I am trying to convey on this broadcast is trying to convey ideas that people can perceive and understand and rationalize with and reason with and get behind and believe. That's what I'm doing, man. And look, to be honest with you folks, that's why I have never faced revealed, all right? I mean, that's why I've never gone out and, tried to, make something bigger than this particular show, than nothing but audio. Because as you have seen through the cult of personalities, especially within the 2016 campaign of the Trump, that cult of personalities tend to just all of a sudden become fame whores, for a lack of a better term. I mean, take a look at all of them. Cernovich, Milo Yiannopoulos, which we're going to be talking about in a minute. Richard Spencer, this freaking Russian agent. Alex Jones. I mean, these people have gone completely mad with the thematic parts of their brains. All right? I mean, these people are completely egomaniacs, and they are now becoming a detriment for the Trump train. What did I tell you? What did I tell you about these cult of personality ass cracks? I told you that they did not have Donald Trump's best interest at hand, and now everything that these morons do and that gets any kind of negative media attention, they're going to attribute it to Trump and the Trump train. All right? I mean, I'm serious. I mean, I don't know what else I have to say to you people. Now, with that being said, let me go ahead and get to some of the news, and then I'm going to get right to what I'm talking about, and that's a conversation about right-wing, the political spectrum of the right wing, and how we should organize, because I think that we are completely disorganized. The right wing is being splintered apart, and the reason is because of cult of personality. These assholes that are supposed mouthpieces and surrogates for the Trump train. I've had about enough of it. I'm serious. I've had enough. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. But first thing I want to get to is the President of the United States going to Melbourne, Florida, and talking directly to the American people. And, folks, if you want my personal opinion, I think that Donald Trump, or at least somebody within his administration, is listening to the tweets. At least I like to think so, all right? If you take a look at my tweets on Tuesday evening and Wednesday evening, I tweet right at Donald Trump trying to advise him to do some things, and he's literally done about 70% of it. The only thing that he hasn't done thus far is demote Reince Priebus, and I think that's coming soon, if you want my personal opinion. But I told him to go out and speak directly to the American people, name names, name agencies, bypass the fake news media, the lamestream media, and that's exactly what he has done. And I applaud Trump for doing this. I think he should do more of it. Because anytime the president speaks, media will show him. And if media is going to not show him, well, the internet will show him. We will show him. And we will make sure that his message gets across. And you know, what's really sad about it is that every time the president speaks now, the mainstream media makes it a point to lie about his speeches. Did you hear about this whole Sweden thing? Look, I didn't even think his comments about Sweden were so controversial, but of course, these idiots in Sweden, which are the cuck of cuckery, if you want my personal opinion, of Europe, next to Germany, all right, these people had a big to-do, big problem, that I can't believe you talked about Sweden that way. Sweden's a great place. Sweden this, Sweden that. Don't take it back, Trump. I mean, there's a whole uproar about his comments about Sweden. And the bottom line is, folks, Sweden is a utter dump hole of a version of itself. There's massive amounts of rapes that are happening in Sweden. I tweeted out a video, or I should say retweeted a video by, I believe it was Tennessee GOP, that basically showed one of these Swedish police chiefs basically admitting that you need to go inside after sundown because you run the risk of getting raped in Sweden. But you see, folks, I'm telling you this right now. This is the kind of lunacy that the left and the globalists are trying to convey across the mainstream media. You don't understand. Not too many people know what's going on in Europe, folks. I mean, those of us that are listening to this broadcast and those of us on the Trump train that stay abreast of not just domestic politics but international relations, you are ahead of the game. You know, you probably already know all the discontent that's happening in Europe because of the damn migrant crisis. The majority of the American public doesn't. They don't. They're completely in the blind. They don't know what's going on out there. They're not showing these issues, and that's what Donald Trump is trying to convey in these speeches directly to the American people. He's trying to tell the American people the truth, that these people in the media are not showing you the consequence of the immigration policies that have been perpetuated in America during the stupid, traitorous Obama administration. And all these idiots that are out here protesting this so-called Muslim ban, which is not a freaking Muslim ban, you morons. He's taking the same list Obama created and preventing those folks from this list that Obama created, preventing them from coming into the country for about 90 days so that the Trump administration can set up an apparatus for extreme vetting. But no. Oh, my God. The uproar of leftism and idiots that are out here. No borders, no ban, no wall. Shut up. I mean, how far we've come. I know I repeat this a lot, all right? But how far we've come from September 11, 2001, 9/11 attacks, the war on terror, the war against radical Islam, to now we've got people in our country that are out in the streets protesting, begging for the terrorists to come in and move next door to them, for Christ's sake. I mean, we've gone completely mad. We've gone completely insane. And as I stated, folks, if you want my personal opinion, I think the reason we've gone insane has a lot to do with the psychotropic drugs that a lot of folks are taking. I think that birth control has a major contributing factor to the women being warped in Western civilization today. That Million Women's March, hey, look, I thought Occupy Wall Street was a black mark in American social history. That Million Women's March, I'm telling you, that was embarrassing. I mean, I was embarrassed for the women out there. I was embarrassed for my country. I was embarrassed for how history is going to look at these disgusting fatties and uglies making complete and utter disgusting disgraces of themselves. I'm sorry. I think that there's something completely wrong with these people. I mean, there is no rational thinking. You know, these people that were out there, these women, these fatties and uglies, they were out there marching with signs that said, "No, you go in the kitchen and make me a sandwich." And, oh, pussy forever, pussy power. I'm sorry to be so vulgar, folks, but, hey, the women now want to desensitize the word pussy now. So I guess we're just going to be able to say it, you know. I guess we'll just say it. I mean, look, I'm just saying that I believe that those women out there that were marching around, I think they have a serious mental problem, and I don't think it has anything to do with them learning anything. I think it has everything to do with what they're taking internally, and I would like a serious scientific investigation on the mental effects of birth control and what it does to the hormonal levels and the mental capacities of women in general that take this. All right, and same thing with psychotropic drugs. Take a look at all the leftists that are usually out there in these protests. They're really wide-eyed, folks. They're wide-eyed. You could tell these people are on some kind of psychotropic drugs, man. And this is why none of this stuff makes sense anymore. Do you get it? I mean, this is a brave new world. This is Huxley, what he talked about. Remember that? This is a brave new world. Remember, this isn't 1984 where some kind of totalitarian rule is forcing people to live in totalitarianism. I mean, Huxley, he even said in an interview that, you know, there are scientific methods and pharmaceuticals now that will get people actually happy. This guy said this in the 50s, that will get people happy, make people happy at whatever scenario, whatever occasion. I mean, they've got drugs now, and he said this in the 50s, where people will actually be begging for their own totalitarianism and want it and enjoy it. And it's happening now, folks. I think that we are witnessing what Huxley said in the 50s and what he was trying to convey in A Brave New World. We're seeing it now. And that's why, in my personal opinion, we have to have Donald Trump continue to talk directly to the American people and bypass the mainstream media. And that's the only way he's going to be able to combat the fake news that these people are conveying. And let me tell you, I love how the president has declared war on the media. He's declared the mainstream media an enemy of the American people, and the media is completely triggered to high hell. Woo! You're damn right. You better be triggered there, mainstream media. You are an enemy of the American people. And the reason I say they're an enemy of the American people, let's just analyze media for a second. You see, I don't just like to make blanketed statements without giving an explanation on why exactly those blanketed statements are made. Now, why is Donald Trump calling the mainstream media an enemy of the American people? Well, news isn't what you think it is anymore, folks. News isn't intended to inform you, especially if you get it off some dumbass talking head on the boob tube. They're not sitting here trying to convey information to you. They're trying to entertain you. They're trying to make you feel good. They're trying to make you not change the channel. They're trying to make you not turn off the TV. That's the prime directive. That is the modus operandi of modern-day mainstream media. They're not there to inform you. And why are they not there to inform you, folks? Advertising. That is the generating revenue format of most media that is on the boob tube. With the exception, of course, maybe like C-SPAN and those types of things. But, folks, that's why you've got CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC just giving you fluff stories, giving you dramatic perceptions, giving you yellow journalism, giving you hyper-sensationalized crap because they don't want you to feel bad. They don't want you to feel discomfort because then you may change the channel. You may change the channel, and if you change the channel, well, then that's less money that the network is going to get from advertisers. And you see, folks, that's why the American media doesn't show the utter carnage that's happening in Europe right now because of the migrant crisis. They are not showing the riots in Paris right now that you can find on YouTube if you look for it yourself. They are not. And they're not going to, folks. That's why in this day and age of the internet, if you are just looking towards the mainstream media for your information and news, then, folks, you are intellectually lazy. I mean, look, everybody goes to the crapper, right? Everybody just sits there instead of looking on, social media and how to philander in the back of your goddamn spouse's back. Why don't you read something? Why don't you inform yourself? Why don't you enlighten yourself about the damn truth? The truth! And, folks, that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's why I'm trying to convey to you we have to get more serious. Because if we continue to allow the lamestream media to shape the narrative of the American perception, then they're going to shape it in a vested interest that they're going to have. Now, look, it's not just the fact that these mainstream media idiots are getting advertising money, and that's why they're not showing you bad news. But at the same time, they're slanting their coverage of Trump. I can't read any lamestream media article or see any lamestream media talking head without them bashing, trashing, slandering, lying about the administration. And in every different slant, all kinds of different angles, all kinds of different spins, negative towards the president. Now, why is that, folks? Ghost, people are probably saying to themselves, okay, Ghost, that's great. They're fueled by money. They're fueled by advertising. But why exactly are they still going after Trump? Why do they seem like they have a vehement motive against the man? Why? Let me explain something, all right? All right? Let me explain something to you right now. The reason is because you take a look back at Stimulus Package 2. I know I keep repeating this. I know I keep talking about this, but it bears repeating, folks. Stimulus Package 2 was a $1 trillion giveaway by the Obama administration and the Democrats to all the folks that are now against Trump. Look, folks, if you want to make a bomb-ass story, if any people in the media that are listening to me right now, if you want to really, truly correlate the angst that's going against Trump right now and all the entities that are against him, the media, Hollywood, et cetera, you can find a direct correlation with the people that got paid off during that $1 trillion giveaway of the Stimulus Package 2 bill and the parties that are against Trump in today's America. That's why the media has a vested interest in making sure to trash Trump. They got bailed out in the Stimulus Package 2 bill, folks. They got bailed out. So did the pornographic industry. So did Hollywood. So did the collegiate realm, the higher education realm. Take a look at all the ridiculous scientific experiments that were initiated during that Stimulus Package 2 bill. And you wonder why the professors are left-wing? They got a piece of that $1 trillion that Obama gave them. And because, who's going to forget whoever gave them money? Just gave it to them. That's why they love the Democrats. That's why they love Obama. Because Obama the biggest wealth transfer in world history, the Stimulus Package 2 bill, folks. And that's why the parties, the entities, the institutions that are going against Trump, that's why they're doing it, folks. I'm not just yanking this out of my derriere. It's the utter truth. You take a look at everybody in the Stimulus Package 2 bill that got paid and take a look at the people that are against Trump now, you're going to be like, oh, Christ, I get it now. I get it now. So, once again, folks, it all comes clear. And that's why I am taking this show a little bit more serious, and I hope that the listeners are taking it more serious at this point in time, because there is no time to sit back and act like a goddamn man-child and play video games and wax your character cartoons. There's no time for that crap. There's no time. We have to get serious, and we have to help the president. Do you understand me? We have to help the capitalist revolution. Do you understand me? And if you have an internet connection, and if you have a computer, then you can do something. By God, you can get a damn social media account. You can get followers. You can get political. You can get a blog. You can get a YouTube channel. You can do these things to convey ideas. And I'm telling you, folks, the more and more of you that convey these ideas, and the more and more people search and they see more and more of you conveying these ideas, that's what's going to help shape the perception of the American people and the world. That's why I want each and every one of you. I don't care. I don't care if you get more popular than me. I don't care if you have, 1 million, 2 million, 50 million followers. Convey the ideas of capitalism. Convey the ideas of what is going to help progress the world out of poverty as a whole. And that is the capitalist idea. That's what I'm saying. And that's why I'm so serious at this point in time now. Now, once again, POTUS, President of the United States, gives a rally in Florida, talks directly to the American people. This just in also, H.R. McMaster is now going to replace the National Security Advisor position that was vacated by Flynn's resignation, Michael T. Flynn, General Michael T. Flynn, who, of course, was set up by the establishment Republicans in conjunction with the deep state. But we've already talked about that, but let's just continue going, shall we? Anyway, H.R. McMaster, this guy who is now going to take the National Security Advisor position, I think is a great choice for the Trump train. This man is one of the most highly decorated soldiers in the Iraq War. Been in a variety of different theaters of combat, actually killed for America. I mean, killed a lot of people for America. And I'm kind of reassured that we've got General Mattis at the Secretary of Defense. We've got, true soldiers, people that have actually went out there and fought for the country, that spilt blood for the country, that have killed for the country in charge of these kinds of positions, in my personal opinion. All right? I'm just saying, it's great. If you take a look at McMaster, this guy has an unbelievable career, and he's had a little bit of a controversy during his military career. He didn't always agree with the civilian government as it pertains to the implementation of the theaters of combat, which I think is kind of good. I think that's probably why Donald Trump chose McMaster, because, he's not necessarily afraid to assess what he believes is the right assessment for the theater of combat in question. So I think H.R. McMaster, I don't know where I got McCasker. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what that's about. H.R. McMaster, I think, is a very, very good choice, very good replacement for Michael T. Flynn. I think that I'm just saying. I think this is a very decent pick. I was really worried that they were going to choose Bolton. Oh man. And let me tell you something right now. The last thing I wanted to see was a neoconservative in the National Security Advisor position, because that's the last thing we need, all right? That's the last thing we need, for Christ's sake, man. I mean, Bolton as a National Security Advisor, for heaven's sake. Oh, my God. Anyway, think it's a very, very good move by Donald Trump himself. It just goes to show you that the president understands what's going on. I did not believe that he was going to get Bolton, but you had the media, according to their sources, claiming that, Bolton, he's in the top running, he may get it. And I know that Petraeus was also named in the running for this as well, which I had some mixed reviews with Petraeus. I don't know exactly where Petraeus is coming from because, if you want my personal opinion, I think that Petraeus didn't really play ball with the deep state, and that's why he got blackmailed in the position that he got into. Lest we forget, folks, that these charges about misappropriating classified information as it pertained him banging his autobiographer banging his biographer and, kind of keeping classified material in his briefcase, whatever the case might be. The reason that he was framed with that, in my personal opinion, is because he was trying to reform the deep state. He was a general, and lest we forget, this man took the head of the CIA. He was the head of the CIA, probably one of the shortest reigns of the head of the CIA, because it wasn't there long thereafter as when he got framed for this crap. You know, he got framed for this crap, and ever since then, I think that they put Petraeus in a corner, and I don't think Petraeus knows what to do. So, I mean, I think that he's compromised, and I'm glad that, you know, that Petraeus National Security Advisor position possibility did not come into fruition. Not whatsoever. So, once again, the president appointing H.R. McMaster as the new National Security Advisor position that was vacated by the resignation of General Michael T. Flynn, and that's a breath of fresh air to say the least. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get to some Twitter shout-outs, folks. All right? For you folks that are unaware, we're still going to take Twitter shout-outs because, you know, that's how you promote the show. All right? That's how you spread it around like wildfire. So what I'd like for everybody to do is retweet the first tweet on my Twitter account, all right? And the tweet to retweet is True Capitalist Radio Live, all right? That's True Capitalist Radio Live. And when you retweet that tweet, I will give you a Twitter shout-out live right here on the broadcast, right here and now. Hey, engineer, do we have any goddamn Twitter shout-outs to be had? All right, well, let's go ahead and get to some Twitter shout-outs right now. All right, hey, we got Tom in the house. How you doing, Tom? We got windows and doors in the place. We've got Christopher Smith in the house. What's going on to Petro? Baxter Chin in the place. Once again, retweet the first tweet on my Twitter account, and I'll give you a Twitter shout-out live right here on the broadcast. We got the Brony Network in the house, the Smiler, Canuck Capitalist in the place. Who else do we got here? We got Artron Havoc, Mastema. What's going on? We got, I'm not going to say that disgusting name for Christ's sake. We got Keep America Great 2020, Tornadoes in San Antonio. Yeah, hey, folks, let me tell you something, man. I'm lucky to be here today. I want to be completely honest with you. Last night in San Antonio was probably one of the worst storms I'd ever seen in a long, long time. And I thought the hailstorms in May were bad. I mean, literally there were like a couple of tornadoes that touched down around the vicinity out here. I saw squall lines of just high wind, 50-mile-per-hour winds. I mean, torrential rain. I mean, between the hours of like 10:30 to about 11:45 p.m. last night. And, I mean, it was so serious that Mrs. Ghost and Templeton were put into the bathroom just in case there was any kind of tornadic activity that was going to go over her house. I mean, we were ready. Unfortunately, Templeton and Mrs. Ghost were a little scared. Me, I was like, we're all going to die! And just acting a fool because I'm not afraid of that sort of thing. But I put them in the bathroom while I was looking at the storm and seeing if there was any kind of funnel cloud or anything going our direction. So, with that being said, I'm fine. Some of the people around me, though, got some major damage in their property. We got a lot of property damage relating to debris, flying debris. We got a lot of damage out here as it relates to tree damage, so on and so forth. Very, very scary storm last night. Came out of nowhere. Anyway, who else do we have here, folks? We've got, I'm not saying this crappy name. We've got, and his name is, what the hell does that mean? We've got Distilling Video tonight. What's going on, man? We've got Silent Capitalist in the house. Sell Mr. Optimist merch. Jesus Christ, man. Is that what y'all want? You want Mr. Optimism? Maybe we'll bring in Mr. Optimism later on tonight. Or later on this. Who knows? Anyway, who else do we got here? We got the Lost Brony in the house. Once again, retweet the first tweet on my Twitter account. And the tweet to retweet is True Capitalist Radio Live. And I'll give you a Twitter shout-out live right here on the broadcast. We've got OG Toru in the place. We've got Nice Show Ghost. Hey, thank you very much. We got Edgar Raines in the place. We got Political News in the house. How you doing? Fidget My Midget. TCA Newsfeed in the place. We got Bad Mem X86. We've got, I'm not going to say that disgusted name. We got Drain the Tub. What the hell does that mean, Drain the Tub? Stupid idiot. Who else do we have here? We got Cash Me Outside Ghost. Cash Me Outside. Are you talking about that stupid little skank that was on Dr. Phil, for Christ's sake? Good God. We got NRJ Commando in the house. We got Xbox's Real Work in the place. We've got Ghost is Texas Pete. What the hell does that mean? What the hell does that mean? We got Sergeant Yoda in the place. What's going on? We've got Hans Gubensmith in the house. Who else we got? We got Lego Fan 420. What's going on? Hey, I mean, if you want a Twitter shout out, all you got to do is retweet the first tweet on my Twitter account, man. I'll give you a Twitter shout out. And of course, the Twitter account is Politics Ghost. All one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow. All right, and just retweet the first tweet. What's going on to Boogeyman? How you doing, man? We got J-Man Capitalist. We got Three-Fingered Fred. Jesus Christ. We got Bash in the house. What's going on to Bash? Venison, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Who else here? We got, what is this? Wubsy Rocks, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. We're going to continue with these Twitter shout-outs, folks. Once again, thank you for retweeting the tweet. That'll give you a Twitter shout-out. What's going on to OG Toru? We got Dr. Bristle in the place. Dirk Diggler in the house. What's going on to Daru85? We've got Hot Dogs for Herbert. Shut up, man. Don't even go there with that crap, you sick freak. Jesus Christ, man. We got, I'm not saying these disgusting names. I can already see where this is going, for heaven's sake, all right? I can already see where this is going. You people need to calm your asses down. Anyway, we got Miami Plus, whatever the hell that means. The Wizard of Texas, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. California Be Damned. Oh, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. I mean, come on, man. Come on. California Be Damned. That's a horrible situation going on over there. Christ, give me the mic. Look, I'm looking on the damn Twitter shout-outs here. Look at it. Trump leaks on Oroville. Trump leaks on Oroville? Son of a bitch. Damn it. Look, I can end this damn Twitter shout-out right now. You sons of bitches keep making these stupid names. I'm giving you, look, I'm still having Twitter shout-outs for you morons. Do you understand it? You're lucky. You assholes are lucky that I still have Twitter shout-outs right now there, boy. You all are lucky that I still have it. Son of a bitch. Give me the mic. Jesus Christ, man. We've got the Green Leader in the house. How you doing, Green Leader? Jesus Christ, man. I mean, you guys are sick, man. Oh, look, here's Milo Sandusky. Oh, there you go. There you go. Hey, look, I got a joke. I got a Milo joke, okay? Before we start talking about Milo here in the next couple of minutes, I got a Milo joke. Why did Milo go to the Walmart blue jeans special? Why did Milo go to the Walmart blue jeans special? Because he heard boys' pants were low. Oh! All right, that's enough. I'm sorry. I had to do it. I'm sorry. I had to do it. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's get back to some Twitter shout-outs. I'm sorry. I had to do it, man. I'm sorry. I had to do it. Jesus Christ, man. What did I tell you? What did I tell you about Milo? What did I tell you? I told all of you months ago about this guy. Son of a bitch. Anyway, we got political news in the house. What's going on in political news? We got Placotimus, 1138. We've got Damn You, California. Here we go. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. In her circle. In her circle. Oh, you son of a... You son of a bitch. In her circle. Yeah, real funny. You freaking idiot. Jesus Christ. And did y'all hear the chopper? Y'all hear that? Give me a mic. Y'all hear that chopper?
Outside the office, you exercise, eat right, but being healthy shouldn't stop when you sit down at your desk. People say sitting is the new smoking. But what can you do? Check out Veridesk, the original and easiest way to stand and sit while you work. It's simple and height adjustable with no assembly or new office furniture required. Find the size that's perfect for your desk at veridesk.com. Stand, sit, feel better. Go to veridesk.com and work the way you live. Veridesk. Work elevated.
Y'all hear that chopper, man? God damn it, the damn chopper, man! I'm telling you, man, I don't like these choppers going over my house, man. I don't like it one bit. I don't like it one bit, man. I don't like this one bit. Look, I'm just gonna ignore it, all right? I'm gonna ignore it. I will not be intimidated. I will not be intimidated by the goddamn ghetto bird. Anyway, let me move on here. We've got Ghost needs a bigger bus. Oh, shut up with that. As a matter of fact, I do want to reiterate something, okay? I want to say that the inner circle members that were banished to the short bus, I mean, it's not like they've been kicked out of the inner circle, okay? It's just that the inner circle just doesn't want to talk to them. That's all right? That's all. I'm sorry. You screwed it up. You're a bunch of tards. Okay, so what I mean by that is that, you guys will still receive stuff that is intended for the inner circle. You can still receive discounts and all that stuff. And look, it's not like you cannot redeem yourself there, short bussers. It's just that you've embraced being a group of antisocial tards that no one really wants to be around. Okay? No one really wants to be around. And maybe, just maybe, if you're on the short bus and take enough ridicule, which maybe that'll never be the case, but maybe we can invite you back. You can start talking again. But until then, you're on the short bus. I'm sorry, all right? And from what I understand, everybody on the short bus is chatting with each other, having a big circle jerk. So, I mean, I'm actually helping you people. I'm actually helping you tards. So, consider the short bus a little bit of purgatory, all right there, tards? Learn something. Learn something. Anyway, we've got Ann and the Wizard in the house. What's going on? We got TC Capitalist in the place. What's going on to Darth Hoodie in the house? CDI Fan 237. We got Phoenix in the place. What's going on? We got, I'm not going to say that disgusting name for Christ's sake. Who else do we have here, all right? And listen, I'm not joking about those folks on the short bus. I mean, look, if you can somehow redeem yourself into proving that you're not some antisocial half-a-tart son of a bitch, maybe we'll allow you in. But until then, go wax your carrot off to cartoons. I don't really give a crap. We got Speed Mobile 91, Remington in the house. What's going on? We've got, I'm not going to say that disgusting name. We got the Motley Chris. Cali Liquidity Market. You know what? Cali Liquidity Market, that's enough. That's enough. That's it. right? This is why the world can't have nice things, you assholes. Give me the mic. Jesus Christ. What's going on to Jimmy Capitalist, for Christ's sake, man? Look, I'm done. You people have ruined Twitter shout-outs, and, that's all you're going to get, all right? That's all you're going to get. You're going to take it and like it. Damn son of a bitch. Anyway, folks, and look, I'm sorry that I have to. Look, just forget it. All right, just forget it. What's going on to Capitalist Kush? How you doing, man? Anyway, we are now in the second hour of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, and of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. Before we get started, I'd like for everybody to please bookmark or add to your favorites the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, and it is blogtalkradio.com/ghost. That's blogtalkradio.com/ghost. And, of course, if you haven't already done so, please follow me on Twitter, all right? The Twitter name to follow is Politics Ghost. All one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow, all right? Woo! Anyway, let's go ahead and get to the nitty-gritty of the broadcast here, and let's get right into it, okay? Let's talk a little bit about Milo Yiannopoulos. That's right. I mean, folks, whenever I talk against somebody, I actually have a very good judge of character, okay? Had a very, very good judge of character, and unfortunately, somewhere along the way, Milo Yiannopoulos metamorphed himself from somebody that was actually attempting to convey intellectual substance around 2015, okay, and 2016 to whatever he has turned into now. And I've said time and time again, I'd like an age check on Milo Yiannopoulos because I think that he is gradually mentally degenerating, and that is a direct side effect of AIDS, HIV. And not to mention, he looks like he's deteriorating physically from my perception, because he looks horrible. He looks way different than he did a year ago, and that's obviously in my opinion, it has something to do with his sexual promiscuousness and his openness about having multiple black sexual partners. And, folks, I don't mean to get racial as it pertains to the AIDS or HIV, but you need to take a look at the statistics as it pertains to the AIDS, HIV rates for the black community in America today. It is disproportionately high. So, in my personal opinion, all right, I believe that given his open sexual, sexual promiscuousness, all right, the propensity of this man having the AIDS is pretty high. All right, now with that being said, okay, let's throw the AIDS and HIV thing aside. What did I tell you after this Berkeley situation, the Berkeley riots? What did I tell you about Milo Yiannopoulos? As a matter of fact, I had been telling you about Milo Yiannopoulos and questioning this man's motives even before the Berkeley riots. You can look back in the archive if you don't believe me. And you see, folks, the reason that I was concerned about Milo is because I was concerned about what he was delivering as a message and how he was correlated with the Trump train. And you see, folks, a lot of the things that he is now saying has no substance, no bearing at all anymore. He's just trying to be an in-real-life troll and agitate violence and agitate dissent. And he's just trolling. And I know folks probably, maybe, some of you folks, actually take some level of glee in that and actually think that that's actually helping our situation. Folks, it's hurting our situation. I mean, folks, look at how they're spinning this Milo narrative at this point in time. He was a former surrogate to the Trump administration, works for Breitbart. You know, I mean, it all comes full circle. And folks, lest we forget that I had brought up this Joe Rogan interview, lest we forget I brought up the fact that he was defending pedophilia long before this story came up, and now everybody's starting to get wind that the guy is not playing with a full deck. Now, you see how that narrative works? And you want to know what happened? I'll tell you what happened. First, Milo does this Berkeley riot situation, which I thought was going to throw egg on the face of the Trump train, and it did. Okay? And it did. Then he puts out this book, like in conjunction with the Berkeley riots. And look, people are trying to defend, and look, I know who you are. I saw you people trying to defend Milo. Oh, well, it's his freedom of speech, Ghost. It's his freedom of speech. Hey, assholes, he's not even an American citizen. And like I said, if you are going to accord the First Amendment to Milo Yiannopoulos, well, then an argument can be made that you need to accord the First Amendment to illegal immigrants. I mean, come on. I mean, it's the same idea. You've got to stay consistent. And on top of which, folks, why did he go into the belly of the beast of liberalism knowing that this was going to cause some type of negative reaction? You understand? I mean, why? Why exactly did he go down there? Because he knew he was going to spawn some kind of negative reaction. I mean, there's even stories claiming that he had instigators perpetuating this violence at Berkeley. Now, whether it's true or not, who knows? But you see the type of narrative that the damn mainstream media can basically shape in the minds of the American people. And that's why I keep trying to convey to you people that political science is about shaping the narrative of the majority of people. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what I think. It matters what the general masses think. And when you can convince the general masses, by God, you have changed the perception of America. And that is the key part of political science. It's being able to convince those that are out there listening to believe in an idea, to believe in it, to vote for it. That's what I'm saying, folks. That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't matter what I believe. It doesn't matter what you believe. It's a matter of how we, as the Trump train, as the right wing of the political spectrum, convey the message so that the majority of the masses can accept it. That's political science. That's political science, man. Anyway, what really spawned all this? Aside from the Berkeley riots, aside from his book, aside from him going out and being a real-life troll at these universities and so on and so forth, Milo Yiannopoulos decided that he was going to go on the socialist Bill Maher show, which is a leftist, disgusting circle jerk of unbelievable proportions. Anyway, he went on Bill Maher's show and made a complete and utter imbecilic ass of himself and of the right-wing perspective. Now, there was a black comedian by the name of, forgot the guy's name, but he was the MC, the Master of Ceremonies, last year during the White House Correspondents' Dinner. He was the MC. He was the main comedian. I forgot the guy's name. But this man was on the panel and trying to actually engage Milo in a very intelligent discourse as it pertained to his comments relating to transgenders. Now, if you did not watch that particular interview, when he was brought onto the panel in Bill Maher's Overtime, he made a comment that transgenders disproportionately give or have more sexual abuse accounts or sexual crimes than anybody else does in America. I mean, he made a very outlandish claim that transgenders, as in aggregate, have more sex crimes than any other group in America today, which that was very, very inaccurate. Larry Wilmore is the man's name, Larry Wilmore. And Larry Wilmore, I don't know if I don't really know his sexual orientation. I'm not trying to assume anything about him. But he made a very good case that, hey, wait a minute. Don't be just marginalizing transgenders in that capacity, because once upon a time, blacks and gays were marginalized, so on and so on. A very, very, intelligent conversation. Milo could have combat that particular dialogue with some of his facts or some of his perceived ideas on the subject matter of transgenders. But no, you know what he did? He called him and everybody else on the panel there they're stupid, they don't know anything, these people are idiots. I mean, that's literally what he said. And Larry Wilmore said, you know what, wait a minute, you know what, go F yourself. And told Milo to go F himself. And another panelist, which is an ex-CIA agent, which you could take that with a grain of salt, black feller as well, told him to F off because he's not American. And, what he was more concerned about, I'm talking about Milo Yiannopoulos, he was more worried about everybody telling him to F off, F you, and having some kind of negative reaction on the actual show, that it literally defeated the purpose of him being there. I mean, it just literally defeated the purpose of being there. And, the thing about Bill Maher's show is that Bill Maher, to unfortunately Milo's detriment, agreed with some of the things that Milo said. And because of that, Bill Maher's now taken a big bunch of flack from the left because he agreed with Milo on certain issues. And it was that, folks, that was pretty much the beginning of the end of Milo this weekend. I hope that he had a great time going to the Bill Maher show, making an ass out of himself and making an ass out of the Trump train, because that's the last claim to fame he's ever going to have again, especially after finally the spotlight coming out on this guy, in which several times he has literally condoned pedophilia. He's condoned pedophilia. He's even admitted to, in a variety of different interviews, that this man here is nothing more than a how can I put it? Jesus Christ. He was trying to say, in not so many words, that the men that prey on prepubescent boys or teenage boys actually help these teenage gay young males into actually becoming secure with their sexuality, okay? I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, he is, there was many times. He said it on the Joe Rogan show. He said it to another interviewer in which he said this. He said this. He said that men that actually go and, have sexual relations with teenage boys actually help teenage boys come to grips with their sexuality. That's what he said. That's what he said. So I know now, Milo, now that, folks, this just in, by the way, Milo Yiannopoulos' book has been canceled, by the way, all right? Here, let me go ahead and retweet that. As a matter of fact, I'm getting ahead of myself. He was supposed to speak at CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Group, one of the biggest conservative political action committees in the country. He was scheduled to speak there, and every conservative and their brother were livid. Well, that has been canceled, and now Simon & Schuster, who were going to, publish his book Dangerous, which was, some big pre-order, New York Times bestseller pre-order, whatever the crap might be. Well, now, folks, that is it's history. It's history. And as far as I'm concerned, we shall see what's going to happen to Milo Yiannopoulos. But, folks, what did I tell you? What did I tell you about this guy? And there should be a lesson to each and every one of you folks, okay? And that's why when I advocate you guys to go out and make videos, make blogs, make social media accounts, this is why a cult of personality happens whenever you get a little bit famous. I mean, it happened to Glenn Beck. I strongly advise people to listen to the recent interview Glenn Beck gave to Tucker Carlson, in which he admitted that he wouldn't wish fame on his worst enemy. And Tucker Carlson questioned him about that. Like, what do you mean by that, Glenn? He said, fame, if you don't keep it in perspective, that you'll find yourself making deals with the devil. You will find yourself making deals with the devil in order to sustain fame. And I think that's exactly what's happened here to Milo Yiannopoulos, if you want my personal opinion. I think that he's tried to do everything he possibly can to make sure that his mug is in the media and make sure he's the focal point of everybody's conversation, that a lot of these antics have finally come back and haunted him. Much like what I talked about PewDiePie. Everybody's saying, oh, PewDiePie, they're robbing him of his free speech, and oh my God, this and that. Hey, that's the same argument that Milo Yiannopoulos is now saying. And look, the bottom line is this. I mean, you can only take things so far before you start pissing everybody off. And you see, trolls, you need to understand this. You're not going to accomplish anything pissing everybody off. And Milo Yiannopoulos should be a perfect example to you, trolls, on how even though you think that you have everything and you're on top of the world, that's how easy it is to get the rug pulled right from under you. And you know what Milo Yiannopoulos is saying on his Facebook account? He's trying to claim that it's a misunderstanding. It was re-edited. It was taken out of context. The same crap PewDiePie and his supporters are trying to say. The same crap. The same goddamn crap. And you see, folks, I mean, you people don't understand. When you're getting paid large sums of money by third parties to do things, you don't understand, man. You don't have rights anymore. Do you understand that? That's why you earn a living, you morons. All right? You can't go and work at a fast food joint without having to put on a uniform. You can't go work at a fast food joint and get on the counter whenever you feel like it and say, hey, I smell ass, without getting fired. You can't do those types of things. Do you understand? I mean, you have to earn a living, for heaven's sake, man. And the thing about earning a living means that you have to do things you don't want to do, all right? Now, if Milo wanted to be Mr. Independent and didn't sell out to Schuster and didn't sell out to these entities, none of this crap would even matter. You know what I'm saying? None of this crap would even matter. But you see, when this is what happens when you sell out, man. This is what happens when you sell out. When you sell out for those millions of dollars, you ain't independent anymore, man. You can't talk for yourself anymore. You understand that? You have to say and do whatever you're paid to do. And you see, that's exactly what PewDiePie didn't do, so that's why he got stripped from his Disney contract and his YouTube Red contract, because, he is supposed to be catering to children, and yet he's joking around about how all Jews should be killed and, Hitler was right and so on and so forth. Now, people can sit here and claim that it's free speech, free this, free that, fine, all right? The problem is that when you get paid millions of dollars by a third party, and obviously there is clauses in the contract, moral clauses, there's moral clauses in all contracts, that is supposed to prevent you from doing this crap, and you think that you're Andrew Dice Clay or some crap. Hey, not even Andrew Dice Clay was Andrew Dice Clay. Once he got banned from MTV for life, that was it for Andrew Dice Clay's career. All right? I mean, I'm serious, man. You people need to understand. That's why I can get away with what I can get away with, folks. Because I'm not signed to anybody. I have an agreement with Blog Talk Radio in which we split profits in relation to, ad sales and so on and so forth. But I'm not obligated to them. You understand? They're not paying me large sums. They're not paying me millions of dollars for any reason. So, in essence, I'm independent, baby, and I can say and do whatever the hell I want. That's why I keep telling you each and every time, I am the underground. I am the underground, for Christ's sake. So anyway, look, I don't want to make this a huge issue per se. I just wanted to say I told you so about Milo Yiannopoulos. And I told you there was something nefarious about this guy. I told you that there was something else motivating this character, and it had nothing to do with the good intentions of putting a good face on the Trump train. None whatsoever. I saw it, and for those of you that continue to defend this guy, come on, what are you doing now? I can see you guys are now taking the defense of Milo. Now he's going, I was an abuse victim, and I used laughter to cope. Yeah, joking around about pedophilia and basically saying that older men who prey on prepubescent boys and teenage boys, they're actually helping a teenage boy because they're helping them get in touch with their sexuality that they're hiding from their parents and they're hiding from their friends. I kid you not, he said this. Anyone who agrees with that or tries to, kind of condone that or curb that or justify that, you've got a fucking problem. Excuse my French, you've got a problem. I'm serious, you've got a problem. You've got a problem. There is no justification for it. That's why everybody's abandoning ship on Milo Yiannopoulos right now. And the bottom line is, folks, is that, man, what have I told you about this pedophilia crap? What have I told you? That's the last line of morality that we have in this moralist society. We've already crossed all lines thereafter. Our last line of morality, folks, is if you think pedophiles should be killed or you think they should be nurtured. That's the last line in the sand that we have in American or westernized morality. That line in the sand is if you feel that pedophiles should be executed and killed or condoned. I can't believe that that's where we're at in America today, but that's where we're at, folks. That's where we're at. And as far as I'm concerned, I think that if you are a pedophile, you should be killed, you should be executed. And that's why I've advocated this many times. If you're a part of a jury, and based upon the evidence presented, that this person killed another person because he was a blatant pedophile, sick, twisted maniac, then vote not guilty. Not guilty, because we need to start intimidating these pedophiles. These damn child molesters think that they can come out here and joke about it. I talked about it on Friday, how the Hillary Clinton and the Democrats related to Pizzagate are all kidding around about this. I talked about a guy who was a Democratic strategist who tweeted at Michael Flynn with the comment, what goes around comments around, as in Comet Pizza. What goes around comments around. Who jokes around about this stuff, man? Who jokes around about this stuff? Only people that think that they can get away with this crap. And I don't think that pedophiles should be able to think that they can get away with this stuff. I mean, America needs to come to grips with a moral principle. And morality at this point, look, as far as conservatives are concerned, I mean, CPAC needs to understand that conservative ideas as it pertains to the old school conservative perception, it's gone. It's completely gone. The last line in the sand, folks, is if pedophiles should be killed or condoned. I mean, that is the last line in the sand. And I am very glad to see that Milo Yiannopoulos, at the first instance that the masses, because remember, these damn interviews had been around for months. These interviews had been around since the fall. And it wasn't until he was speaking in front of Bill Maher, scheduled to speak at CPAC, when all these things became popular and became noticeable to the masses. Now, do you understand what I'm talking about when it comes to political science and the masses? You see, Milo Yiannopoulos was able to ride a portion of the masses to get him credible to the point where he can be broadcasted to the masses. And when he was broadcasted to the masses, people did their research on this son of a bitch and found that, hey, wait a minute, this guy is not, some kind of innocent little flamboyant little fruit bowl. This guy actually condoned pedophiles.
Calling the 2017 Mercedes-Benz GLA simply a compact SUV is like describing a cathedral as just 4 walls and a ceiling. The GLA is both a beautiful work of design and one of the most functional SUVs in its class, and it's available at an exceptional price. Why drive any compact SUV when you could be driving the 2017 Mercedes-Benz GLA? Visit mbusa.com/GLA to learn more. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
And that was brought to the attention of the masses. And then once the masses all know about it, folks, it's over. Do you understand that's how political science works? It's not even about the truth. It's about a perception. It's about shaping the narrative of the masses. And that's what the mainstream media does. And that's what we have to start doing. That's why I'm imploring you, please, man, get a blog. All right, get a social media account. Get political. Get serious. Get a goddamn YouTube account. We need to put as much information as possible. We need to put out as much information as possible so that the mainstream media can't pretend anymore. When people do searches for politics, they're going to be searching and finding your videos and my show and your blogs and your social media accounts, because there's going to be so many people conveying these ideas, they can no longer deny that these ideas don't exist. They can't pretend that our ideas are the minority. They can't deny that. So that's why I'm saying, folks, I mean, we have to understand that this cult of personality situation that's been created with Milo Yiannopoulos, and guess who's defending Milo Yiannopoulos? Huh?
Mike Cernovich. Yeah, Cernovich. Yeah, the guy that wrote the Gorilla Mindset. Hi, guys, I'm Mike Cernovich, and I think it's sad that Milo Yiannopoulos is, being labeled a pedophile. I think it's bad. And I think it's wrong, and I'd like Milo Yiannopoulos to come over here with me, and we'll do something together. Maybe I don't know. Shut up! Shut up!
So anyway, as I stated, folks, we need to end the cult of personality perception in the right, because that's left-wing garbage, all right? That's why communists have supreme leaders, and these dictators and these despots. I mean, that's why, all right? I mean, it's a adherent to communism and socialism for a dictatorship of the people. And you see, we on the right, we should be about ideas, okay? This is about ideas out here. This isn't about personality, and that's why I try to convey ideas through the medium of audio. Because who the hell cares who I am? All right? Who cares who I am? It's the ideas that I'm trying to convey. You see, out here, these cult of personality assholes on the right, they want you to just worry about who they are and used to say their name out of the back of your head. You to say their name in a conversation about political persuasion. It's all about cult of personality, and we're better than that. They're right wing. We're better than a cult of personality. So right now what I'm going to do is I want to have a serious conversation about the right-wing political spectrum and what we should do to organize around a single and simple idea. Not personalities. Personalities aren't going to get right-wing anywhere. Because right now, even though Donald Trump has won the election and he is president, I mean, as you can see, the right-wing political spectrum is very splintered in a variety of different factions. You've got conservative never-Trumpers. You've got alt-right wingers. You've got right of center. You've actually got folks that are left of center coming aboard onto the right-wing political spectrum because they realize those that are left of center, the Democrats and the left, are no longer the liberals. They're the authoritarians. They're not about free speech anymore. They want to regulate speech. They want to regulate every action and motivation. They don't believe in freedom anymore. So with that being said, I do believe that we can all gather around a singular subject. Because right now, politics as we know it is a very complex array of different ideas and different issues. And politics at this point, we don't have time to make it an issue-based type of political perspective. I mean, right now we're at the cusp on whether or not we are going to embrace a global collectivism or we are going to embrace a national individualism. And I prefer a nationalist individualism over any collectivism. Now, what is collectivism, folks? What is the idea of communist collectivism, socialist collectivism? It means that we're supposed to be all equal. That we're supposed to be all the same kind of people. We're supposed to be the same type of thing. We're equality, equality, equality. It's always a point of emphasis as it pertains to collectivism. But you see, folks, we're not all equal. All right? And that is the biggest fallacy of the left. That's the biggest fallacy of communism. That's the biggest fallacy of socialism. We are not equal. We're not all the same size. We're not all the same height. We all don't have the same shoe size. We don't have the same hand size. We don't have the same faces. We don't have the same hair color. I mean, I can go on and on. We don't have the same communication skills. We don't have the same mental capacities. There is no such thing as equality. Equality is something that has been sold by communists and socialists to sell the very simple people who don't understand the complexity and the intelligentsia and the philosophical ramifications of communism and socialism. And that's the diabolical evil beauty of communists. Communism, and the way Marx constructed it, he constructed it to where he can convey these simple ideas of, the worker should be preserved, and everybody should have a fair shake, and everybody should be treated equal, and the worker should take control of the means of production, and there should be a dictatorship of the proletariat. We should all have some kind of connection and bond with our common man. All this collective crap. But the people that are actually running and implementing this communist idea, the intelligentsia, the people that actually understand the dialectic, material, philosophical basis of communism, know it's not about that. They know it's all about power. Politics is power, folks. nothing more. And that's why the communists, they want to not just take political power, they want to control society in every compartmentalized aspect. They want to micromanage life for everybody. That's the objective of communism. Take a look at China. Take a look at North Korea. And the basis of all this madness, equality. The promise of equality. The promise that you are going to be equal to everybody else. Equality, right? Oh, we're all going to be equal. Yeah, equality, equality. What a bunch of crap. And you see, folks, the right wing of the political spectrum needs to understand that we need to sell a message that is not negative as it pertains to the fact that we're not all equal. Because when you tell people that we are not all equal, a negative connotation comes to those that believe in equality. Like these left-wing romanticists that believe that we should all be equal. When you try to convey to them that we're not all equal and it's impossible and it's not the way life works, they're just not going to hear it. They're not going to hear it because you have to explain to them in complexity why we're not equal. And you notice, folks, whenever you try to explain something factually and intellectually, most of the time, the majority of the leftists and even some of these ignorant right-wing idiots seem to just kind of turn their minds off. Their eyes go up into the sky, and they're literally just kind of just space you out. It's like they're not even listening to you. It's like they're purposely not wanting to listen. Well, folks, the reason is because things have to be dumbed down for the American general public. I hate to say this in such a blunt manner, but let's be honest. That's why both political parties always have these 2 or 3 word slogans related to their campaigns. You know, hope and change, I'm with her, make America great again. I mean, these very, very simple slogans. Because you have to break down a message into a very, very short phrase so that repetition finally penetrates the simplistic mind of the American psyche. It's got to be a very simplistic message so that the American people can be like, oh yeah, make America great again. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, dude. I'm serious, man. Why do you think the mainstream media keeps perpetuating and repeating Russia, Trump, Russia, Trump, Russia, Trump, Trump, Russia? I've been saying this for months. The reason they're doing that is repetition. Repetition is brainwashing. Repetition is programming. Repetition, man. So what am I proposing to the right wing of the political spectrum? I'm proposing that we simplify the message so that we can organize ourselves around a singular idea, a singular message that can be literally interpreted by all as non-threatening and inviting, which is something that those on the left don't see of the right. They think the right as Nazis and they're neo-Nazis, they're totalitarians, they're racist. Folks, that is the farthest from the truth. Are there white nationalists within the right? Sure. Are there people that have a racial component on the right wing? Sure. But in the end, folks, I personally believe that the right wing, we are the new freedom. We are the new freedom perception, the freedom political spectrum. Because those of us on the right, at least those of us with any kind of intelligence, we believe in conversating and exchanging facts and ideas. And even if we disagree with one another, we can actually convey our ideas and facts, and maybe we won't change each other's minds. But in the process of discourse, people that are listening, people that are watching, those people you'll make their minds. You'll give them perceptions. You'll give them ideas. And that's what the right is all about. The right accepts all perceptions of political persuasion. Of course, it has to be on the right, of course, but still, all variants. And you see, folks, now that the left is trying to control everybody, now that the left is trying to utilize authoritarian and totalitarian tactics to regulate speech and regulate actions of people and regulate, they want to regulate everything. When on the right, we want to deregulate everything. On the left, they want collectives. They want communism. They want a communal idea. They want to gather around in big crowds. They want to commiserate with one another. They want to be whatever equal means. They want to be equal, whatever the hell that means. Folks, what the right wing of the political spectrum needs to focus on is the fact that we on the right don't want people to be equal. We want people to accept that they're different. That they're different. There's nobody who's bad, nobody who's evil, nobody who's good. Obviously, though, you might want to, the pedophiles and people who commit gross acts of crimes, obviously those are bad people. I'm speaking in general masses. I mean, there is no equality. But because you're not equal to somebody else doesn't mean that you're lesser of a person. Just because you don't have as much money or as much fame or as much vanity or as much whatever it is that you perceive in your mind that you are lacking, that doesn't mean that you're less of a person. It means that you are different. You understand that? And that's the point of emphasis that the right needs to focus on. We accept difference. We embrace the fact that people are different. We don't try to regulate the fact that people are different. And once the right wing starts understanding that we accept all people that embrace and accept the right-wing political spectrum on the basis of them being different, then we will organize a mass of right-wing thinkers that has never been seen before. Because right now, folks, the left is going full-fledged totalitarian left. I'm talking full-fledged communism. And it's turning off the center of left, folks. It's turning off a lot of people that aren't down with this crap. It's turning off the working people. It's turning off the middle-class, blue-collar worker and the Rust Belt in the Midwest. It's leaving out the individual Democrat that used to be, remember, your mom and pop's Democratic Party? I mean, this is why I'm saying, folks, we on the right, we are the ones that are on the right side of history today. We're the ones who are embracing all ideas. We're the ones that accept that there is no equality, and we should accept our differences. I'm serious, man. We need to put this in the freaking faces of everybody who's against those of us that are on the right. That we embrace difference. We want difference. Difference is what perpetuates a new concept. Difference is what helps innovate, create. New ideas perpetuate. This is what we have to emphasize ourselves on, folks. And if we can embrace being different, if we can say that, hey, we accept everybody who's different, and being accepting doesn't mean that we're going to be politically correct with your asses, okay? Being accepting of difference doesn't mean that you oblige by a certain set of political correct principles. Being different means the ultimate freedom. It doesn't mean conformity. I mean, that's what the left is now obliging. Conformity. I mean, these are now conformists. Take a look at the leftist hipsters with the silly-ass glasses and the beards and the stupid-ass uniforms. That's conformity! That's conformity! So that's why I'm saying, folks, we as the right, we need to embrace the idea of different. Everybody's different. We have different wages. We have different wages. We have different incomes. We have different races. We have different hair color. We are different heights. We're different weights. We eat different foods. We like different leisure activities. We're not all the same. And when we start embracing difference within people, then that's the basis of individuality. That's the basis of individuality. And that's the basis of capitalism. That's the basis of right-wing political perspective. This is what I'm talking about. And this is what we have to perpetuate, folks. And this is why I'm trying to take this goddamn show serious. This is why I'm trying to take this show serious. Because if we don't start organizing the right around a singular idea, a simple idea, we are going to lose this battle. We are going to lose this battle against the globalists. We are going to lose this battle against the leftists. We're going to lose this battle against the establishment. So that's why I'm saying, folks, we on the right, we embrace difference. We reject equality because equality does not exist in the world. Equality is a dictated idea, which is an adherent to communism and socialism. Being different is natural. Being different is what the natural state of humanity, the natural state of life in general is. Not all trees are the same size. Not all trees have the same amount of leaves. Not all vegetation grows at the same rate. I mean, I can go on and on. I mean, everything is different. Everything. And there's nothing wrong with being different. If you're different, it doesn't mean that you're a loser. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean it. It means that you have to find yourself. And you see, folks, that's what the left has failed to do. They don't understand difference because they don't know who the hell they are. They don't even know who the hell they are. That's why they go to these marches to try to find identity. That's why they go to these groups like Black Lives Matter and Antifa to try to find identity and solidarity and some kind of companionship to some capacity. They don't know who they are. They don't know who they are originally or what kind of original thoughts that they have. The only thoughts that they have been perpetuated by the groups that they follow. And you see, that's what those of us on the right don't do. We don't follow groups. We don't follow anything. We follow ourselves because we are different. We don't believe in equality. Equality does not exist. And there's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't mean you have to be hateful towards everybody. Doesn't mean that you have to be vile. Doesn't mean you have to kill anybody or anything to that capacity. It just means that, hey, if that person thinks a certain way, that person's different. If this person dresses a certain way, that's different. This person has a sexual persuasion that's different than yours. That's just different. The foundation of our principles should be right-wing politics and capitalist economics. Now, to what extent the extremism of your right-wing perception is, that's up to you. You're an individual. We're not all equal. We don't all have to be equal on the right. We just have to be on the right side. We don't have to be, like I said, all on the same page on every issue. But the issue that we should all embrace on the right is that we're all different. And we should all appreciate each other for the difference that we bring to the right-wing political persuasion. Because the more difference that we embrace, the more difference that we accept, the more difference that we acknowledge and embrace within our political perspective, the more diverse we'll look against the left. And you see, what's going to bind us is not no freaking race hustling. It's not class warfare. It's not cultural wars. It's the idea that we embrace our differences and that we want to be capitalists and we want to be individuals that don't conform to anybody but what we would like to conform to. That's it. And, very good point there, Goldner Adler. Let me go ahead and retweet that. The only equality that should be equal in the capitalist economic the capitalist economic system is opportunity. Excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself here. That's what we need. We need equal opportunity for all. And what does that mean? That means what Trump's trying to do. Why do you think that he wants to put a point of emphasis on rebuilding the inner cities and helping black communities across this country, even though blacks right now are not very favorable to Trump? Blacks right now don't really think Trump's a very good guy. They think he's a racist bastard, even though he is the only president to acknowledge the strife that is been inflicted upon the black community, and he's the only president that actually says he's going to do something about it. And the reason he's going to do something about it is not because he's trying to pander to a culture. He's trying to bring black people to an equal opportunity footing. Because let's be honest, the majority of black folks that grow up in black communities, they grow up in crap schools. They mostly end up having crap educations, and they end up perpetuating this ghettofied degeneracy that has now become prevalent, if not dominant, within the black community. And the reason is because Mr. Barack Obama, yes, we can, made it very easy for these folks to just stay home, collect a check, and commiserate amongst their communities and cause nothing but trouble and crime. If these individuals had a job where they were going and working and having some integrity and coming home with a nice paycheck and being able to take care of their girl or their family or themselves or their mothers or whatever the case might be, this whole story would be different. I do not believe that black America would be in the degenerate situation that it's in. It would not be in the degenerate situation that it's in. So that's why Trump is trying to go after the black community, not to race hustle, but to show that the right wing embraces difference. And the only way that we're going to progress as a nationalist capitalism, as opposed to a communist globalism, is if we come together and embrace our differences. We don't have to palate anything. We can have our prejudices. It doesn't mean that we're going to deny an opportunity based upon somebody's skin color, okay? I mean, we can have preconceived notions based upon societal cliches. It doesn't mean that you're going to rob somebody of an opportunity that you can give them because they have the skills to do it. Because, folks, in capitalism doesn't erase racism, okay? But it puts a price on it. And let me tell you, if you're a racist and you don't want to hire a certain race of people because you're a racist and that industry that you're in basically has a bunch of people within a race that you don't like that are actually doing wonders for your competition, well, then you're going to get the hell out of the business. I mean, capitalism puts a price on racism, and at some point it'll bankrupt a racist. At some point, a racist is going to have to come to grips with his racism and say, look, for whatever reason, I don't like this group of people. I got to hire them, man. I'm losing money here. These people have the skills to pay the bills. I mean, I gotta eat my pride and go and hire folks that I supposedly am prejudiced against. That's why I'm saying, folks, if we embrace difference, we're not going to give a crap about all this race hustling, class division, and all this divide and conquer stuff. And that's why the right wing of the political persuasion must embrace difference. And like I said, just because we embrace difference doesn't mean we have to like all the different things that are around us. I mean, we're free. I don't have to like something like, some cartoon fetished idiot. All right, but we're different. Even though somebody's a cartoon fetished idiot, that cartoon fetished idiot could be a devout capitalist, could be making some serious money, a productive member of society. But because I don't like that person's cartoon fetish nonsense, I'm not going to hate on him because he's a productive or she's a productive member of society. It's when these people live with mommy and daddy and do absolutely nothing with their lives and that are infatuated with video games, infatuated with cartoons. This is what is a detriment to society, and that is what we should not condone. We should not condone anybody who is not productive, because that's not different. That's going back to the same, which was Barack Obama's democratic experiment of blatant complacency. We can no longer afford to have American people just sitting on their asses not doing a goddamn thing unless they're genuinely disabled. And even disabled folks want to go out and work. Even folks that are quadriplegics or paraplegics, they want to do something. They don't want to just sit around and collect a damn check. They want to go out and be productive as well, man. That's why difference should be everything. We should embrace this. We don't have to accept difference in the sense of like having to palate something you don't want to palate. If you don't like a certain culture, fine, okay? That doesn't mean that you have to degrade it. It doesn't mean that you have to disrespect it. It means that you can just be like, I'd rather not. But you can at least embrace the idea that that person in whatever race, whatever culture that you may disagree with, believes in the right-wing politics and believes in the capitalist economic system. And that's it. That's all we need. We need to organize around our difference and organize around the fact that we're different. We believe in right-wing politics, and that right-wing politics could encompass anything from the center to extreme right. We don't have to be the same. And we're not going to hate each other because we have different variants of right wing. What we're going to do is we can discuss those different variants, and because we're all on the same side to begin with, we can compromise. You see, it's a lot easier to compromise when you're all on the same side, and you can compromise from the absolute extreme to the center and meet somewhere in the middle of the right. That's why I'm saying, folks, we need to embrace our differences, we need to embrace right-wing politics, and we need to embrace capitalism. If we do that, especially the economic idea of capitalism, if we do that, I think that we would make America great again faster than we could even imagine. So once again, don't confront Antifa, don't confront the leftist with the notion of thinking that you're going to be able to out-debate these people. What you should do is out-message these people. And the message is that the right embraces difference. We embrace it. We want it. And you know why we embrace it? Because we are not hurt if those of us don't like what the differences in each and every one of us are. But we respect each other. We respect each other because we're capitalists. We respect each other because we're on the right of the political persuasion. We respect each other because we're Americans. And folks, this is what I want. This is why I'm taking this show seriously. This is why I hope that you're taking this show seriously. Anyway, folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And as I stated, man, let's start putting a point of emphasis of difference. because if you take a look at the left, it's all conformity. It's all you do what I say, you do what I feel. You either oblige this political philosophy on the left or they shun you. I mean, they will shun your ass. I'm serious. You either go and embrace their leftism or you are not a part of their group. You embrace Antifa or you're not in their group. So once again, confront leftists with the fact that you claim to be liberal, you claim to be leftist. Well, why don't you embrace difference instead of trying to force equality, instead of trying to dictate equality? I mean, the right embraces difference. I mean, folks, I have seen a metamorphosis within the right wing of political politics within the 2016 campaign. And that metamorphosis is that every brand of individual has come aboard the right-wing political perspective. I mean, everybody, every kind of person you can think of, every race, every culture, every sexual orientation, every kind of person. And instead of trying to encompass this around a certain cultural war or racial war or hell, even economic war, because I don't think that we should be sitting here trying to, downgrade people because they make less than those of us that actually make decent money as a capitalist. We should embrace people's differences. We should embrace people's happiness. Some people are happy doing a very easy job, being able to come home, being able to see their wives, see their children, and that's life to them. And we should embrace that. We should embrace everybody who's different, who embraces the right and the capitalist idea. Anyway, folks, we are now in the third and final hour of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. Before we get started on anything else, please follow me on Twitter. The Twitter name to follow is Politics Ghost. All one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow. And, of course, if you have not done so, please add to your favorites or bookmark the official website of the True Capitalist Radio Show. It is blogtalkradio.com/ghost. That's blogtalkradio.com/ghost. Every one of my episodes is there to download absolutely free. They're all time dated and stamped to basically listen to, and you can be in shock at all the damn prognostications that yours truly has made throughout the 9 years of this broadcast, all right? Anyway, let me move on, folks. Once again, I would like everybody on the right to just kind of embrace this idea. And it's all organized around the singular idea of difference. Everybody's different. We're all different shapes. We're all different heights. We're all different races. We're all different classes. We're all different people. We all have different eye color, different hair color, different shapes of faces, different shapes of noses, different shapes of eyes. I mean, I can go on and on. There is nothing equal about it, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, man. It doesn't mean you're any less of a person. Embrace difference. I mean, that was the basis of our forefathers when they constructed the Constitution. They knew we were all different. There was no element of conformity there. So that's why I'm saying, folks, I mean, we are the ones that are embracing freedom. We're the ones that are embracing individuality. We're the ones that are embracing the idea of nonconformity. We're the ones that are embracing the idea that power is in different people. It's not in the same people. It's not when everybody's doing the same goddamn thing. I'm not joking, man. So with that being said, let me move on to another subject matter here because I want to talk a little bit about foreign policy and about what Donald Trump should do as it pertains to foreign policy here. Now, folks, if you've been out of the loop about what's going on, Russia, China, everybody's flexing nuts at the United States right now because the countries that are flexing nuts know that the United States is in a little bit disarray. They know that the deep state, which is a lot of the spies and a lot of the the intelligence community, a lot of these folks are turning against Trump for whatever reason, and that are trying to undermine his presidency on a variety of different fronts. And these countries like Russia and China know this. That's why you've got Russia trying to, test the waters by bringing a spy ship within 40 miles of our damn East Coast. That's why you've got China out there trying to put ships in the South China Sea and battleships in the Pacific, trying to flex nuts at us. But I think right now the international relation chessboard is being repositioned, and I think that Donald Trump should really seriously consider a couple of strategies at this point in time as it pertains to his foreign policy. Now, I know people are interpreting what China did today to North Korea, denying coal, exports, which basically gives money to the North Koreans to eat. This obviously was some kind of a ploy of some kind by the Chinese to basically offset the lunacy that's happening in the world of Kim Jong-un. Now, I personally believe that there's an opportunity here for Donald Trump to use the psychotic perceptions of whatever the world Kim Jong-un is smoking. I think that he could use Kim Jong-un. Let me explain something here.
Calling the beautifully redesigned 2017 Mercedes-Benz CLA simply a four-door coupe is like describing a world-class athlete as just a good runner. With its sleek profile and powerful turbocharged engine, the CLA offers agility and design that are unmatched in its class, and it's available now at an exceptional price. Why drive any four-door coupe when you could be driving the 2017 Mercedes-Benz CLA? Visit mbusa.com/CLA to learn more. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Let me explain something about international relations and foreign policy. Sometimes in foreign policy, you have strange bedfellows for the sake of a better good, for a long-term objective. And at this point in time, folks, in my opinion, I think that China is being a little too belligerent for its own good, in my personal opinion. And I believe that China is nothing more than a paper tiger. And the reason these guys are saber-rattling, the reason the Chinese are coming out here saying that they're going to launch preemptive strikes if we renegotiate the trade deal, it's war, and all this other nonsense is because if we renegotiate the trade deal with China to any capacity, it's going to literally collapse their economy. It's going to collapse their economy to the point in which that's it for the communist government of China. So with that being said, you've got China being very belligerent, not just the United States, but to its neighbors that are bordering the South China Sea. That's why you had Japan's Abe spending the weekend with Trump, because I'm sure what him and Abe were talking about is the remilitarization of Japan, and how the remilitarization of Japan is definitely needed, considering that you have a belligerent China in the region. Now, one more thing about China is that in Davos, Switzerland, at the World Economic Forum this past January, they announced, and we talked about it on this broadcast, they announced that China is the new model for the world. That is how they want that's how they want the world to look. They want the world to look like the Chinese model, in which the bureaucrats are the billionaires, the communist government are the billionaires, and whatever beans that are just basically thrown on the people, that's what the people get. All right? They get whatever they can get. And that's what they want. They want complete and total micromanaging of every society. All right? They want a complete and total micromanaging of every aspect of everybody's life. That's why the globalists love the Chinese model. And that's why Trump, in my personal opinion, has to reevaluate foreign policy in a new direction. Now, I know that people are probably thinking a little bit perplexed when I bring up North Korea as a possible opportunity for Trump. Because, lest we forget, folks, Trump talked about potentially talking to North Korea during his campaign. Now, why would we talk to North Korea? Well, because, folks, I believe that North Korea can be used to our advantage. All we need to give them is money. That's all Kim Jong-un is bitching about. That's all that Kim Jong-un is throwing ballistic missiles in the air about. That's the only reason why he's saber rattling. He wants money. Okay? Now, what Donald Trump can do, and I hope somebody from the Trump administration is listening to this, what Donald Trump can do can reestablish diplomatic relations with North Korea. Send a representative to North Korea to discuss a renegotiation of Bill Clinton's 1994 Joint Framework Agreement. Now, the reason I say this, folks, is if for some reason, if Donald Trump tries to reestablish some level of diplomacy with North Korea, and the left or the political establishment or the lamestream media starts saying, oh, look, he's making a deal with North Korea. Look at him. He's making a deal with North Korea. He must be a communist. When they start pulling up that card, the Trump administration can say, hey, wait a minute, no, we're not doing anything other than obliging the Joint Framework Agreement of 1994. Now, let me explain to you what that is, folks. Now, prior to 1994, Kim Il-sung, which was the leader of North Korea at the time in the 90s, which is Kim Jong-un's grandfather, he had nuclear ambitions. He had been talking about enriched uranium and all this crap, and there was 5 different countries that basically brought North Korea to the negotiating table, and they called this back in the 90s the 5-party talks, which comprised of China, Russia, Japan, the United States, and I'm missing somebody, South Korea. So South Korea, Japan, Russia, China, and the United States. The 5-party talks. And every time a North Korean official would sit down with the 5-party talks system, nothing would ever get done. The North Koreans didn't like negotiating with 5 different countries. So Bill Clinton decided to take it upon himself to negotiate with North Korea on a bilateral basis, meaning that he was going to negotiate with Kim Il-sung one-on-one. He sent Madeleine Albright, who was the Secretary of State at the time, to North Korea, and that's when they negotiated this Joint Framework Agreement, which is nothing more than an agreement in which the United States promised to not only pay North Korea to stop them from, getting or attempting to obtain nuclear weapons, but we also were, in the Joint Framework Agreement, we promised them that we were going to build their electrical grid, that we were going to help them build, an electrical system, all kinds of stuff. I mean, Bill Clinton literally just promised North Korea a whole bunch of crap. Well, then came the 2000 election in which George W. Bush was elected president, and right as George W. Bush was elected president, he said that he was not going to acknowledge the Joint Framework Agreement. And right when North Korea figured that out, what did they do? They kicked out the IAEA, they kicked out the UN, and lo and behold, what happened? They turned on their nuclear reactor, and North Korea has been belligerent ever since. Okay? So, with that being said, what Trump can do is just say, look, we're going to start acknowledging the 1994 Joint Framework Agreement, send Tillerson or somebody else of some diplomatic team out there to North Korea, so that lo and behold, they can establish, or I should say reestablish, the 1994 Framework Agreement and start paying them some money. And look, this, people are saying, is it giving North Korea money the same thing as what was done with Iran? No, it's not. And I'm going to explain to you why. Because the Joint Framework Agreement was actually obliged after 1994. It wasn't until George W. Bush came into power and said he was not going to acknowledge the Joint Framework Agreement, and as a result, that's when Kim Jong-il kicked out the IAEA and the United Nations inspectors and decided that he was going to start his nuclear reactors up and start enriching uranium. So, and they've been doing that ever since, and they haven't stopped. They've been belligerent ever since the year 2000. So, with that being said, he could literally give himself political cover by saying that all he's doing was taking a bill or taking an agreement that Bill Clinton signed and Bill Clinton obligated and just fulfilling the obligation. And when they fulfill the obligation, we ask a little bit of something of Kim Jong-un. We ask a little something from him. What we do is we ask him to be the bad boy of the Asian Peninsula. Let me tell you, North Korea is not going to be very happy at China right now because of their cutting off of coal exports. They're not going to be very happy, okay? So, Trump needs to take advantage of that, send a team out there, work the Joint Framework Agreement back into existence, and lo and behold, you can have North Korea agitating China. And, when I mean agitating China, it's not going to be hard to do after China cut off the exports of coal. All right? It's not. That's what I'm saying. So, with that being said, let's just say, for the sake of argument, that this comes into fruition, and that we pay North Korea based upon the Joint Framework Agreement, and that North Korea starts kind of agitating China. The argument is, well, what's China? What's stopping them from going in there and taking over North Korea? The South Koreans, man, the Japanese, the Vietnamese. I'm telling you right now, you can put China in a corner that can literally crumble the whole goddamn system based upon the precarious situation it made for itself. Made for itself in the Asian Peninsula. So that's why I'm saying, folks, I think that this is a very, very good opportunity for America to be able to kind of use the psychopath mentality of Kim Jong-un against China and against a belligerent China and potentially a belligerent Russia if necessary. Remember, I'm going to be honest with you. North Korea is just waiting for a fight, all right? And you can tell Kim Jong-un he wants to use his military because he knows he has a little bit of dissension within his ranks. That's why we have a lot of defectors going towards South Korea claiming that the whole damn regime is in disarray, and that's why Kim Jong-un keeps killing people. For those of you that are unaware, he killed his brother this past weekend at a Malaysian airport because, to be honest with you, he's supposed to be the rightful heir to the North Korean bureaucratic throne. He's the eldest son, Kim Jong-nam. And unfortunately, he was at a Malaysian airport and was set up, and somebody put some kind of substance in his face, and whatever the hell that substance was killed him. So this goes to show you that, Kim Jong-un is down to do some really, really precarious stuff, and why not gear his psychoticness, why not gear his psychopath mentality towards China? Why not? All right, why not? And that's my personal opinion about North Korea at this point in time. I think that he should really look at North Korea, and all he's got to do is reestablish the 1994 Framework Agreement. And once you do that, we own North Korea. North Korea is now our personal mercenaries in the Asian Peninsula. They're our personal mercenaries. That's why that's why Donald Trump was meeting with Abe of Japan. And to be honest with you, I would even extend this diplomacy to Vietnam. That's right. I would even extend this diplomacy to Vietnam. Vietnam doesn't appreciate what China's doing in the South China Sea. The Vietnamese aren't very big fans of the Chinese people. So, these people that are in China that are trying to flex nuts, that are trying to act like belligerent idiots on the world stage, I think they're doing themselves a major disservice. And it's only a matter of time if Donald Trump coordinates this diplomacy, if he coordinates this diplomacy appropriately, he could be able to literally bring China to its knees. And lest we forget, folks, I believe that the majority of the population of China doesn't even want to live under the communist government. And the reason is, the reason is, folks, is because, I need a drink. I'm sorry, folks. I'm going off keister here. I'm just trying to say that they're a paper tiger. These people in China remember Tiananmen Square. They remember the massacre. They don't like living under this totalitarian micromanaged rule of the communist government. I don't know how more obvious that we have to make it, for Christ's sake. Give me my drink. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let me continue going as far as diplomacy is concerned. As far as Russia, I think that we have to, basically take a strength Russia approach. Now, folks, I don't know if you folks have known this, but, a lot of black operation games have been going on between Russia and the United States, okay? We talked about it, about a few months ago, where Vladimir Putin's favorite chauffeur conveniently got into a head-on collision, which looked like a setup to me. You've got, people that are randomly dying that are Putin critics. Well, folks, now today, Russia's UN ambassador, Russia's ambassador to the UN mysteriously dies of a heart attack at 64 years old. Just mysteriously dies, 64 years old. So that's why I'm telling you, folks. This is some black ops, cloak and dagger type of situation, and the last thing we need is any kind of cooperation militarily with the Russians. I don't trust the Russians. I've said it, and I will continue to say it. I believe these people are at the bottom of globalism. I believe that these people have I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I don't believe that they're the nationalist, Russian nationalist, Christian, whatever image they're trying to portray right now. I think it's a bunch of crap. And as I've stated time and time again, okay, hold on, this just in, folks. I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked here. I want to retweet this, getting back on Milo. Look at this. Trump and Milo have turned the GOP into the party of perverts. Here it is. Look at that. Right there, New York Daily News. Look at that. You see that? Do you see that? Anyway, folks, I told you about this stuff, man. Anyway, look. Let me just calm my ass down here. All right, we got about 37 minutes left on the broadcast here. All right, let me take a drink. And once again, I'm just giving some some advice to the president on some foreign policy, which I believe would help. Now, I don't believe we should have any kind of military relations with Russia, but we should have at least a very tentative diplomatic relations. And the reason I say that is because Russia, at this point in time, it's in a precarious scenario. I mean, it's leading the New World Order from my perception, but at the same time, it is losing favorability in the international community, to say the least. And they know it. Now, for you folks that are saying,
no, Ghost, you're lying. You know, Putin, he's a nationalist, and yeah, he's a good Christian man.
Oh, yeah? He was a KGB member that killed for communism. He killed for communism. So what, all of a sudden, miraculously, a man who killed for communism is going to just find God and, become a nationalist, which is completely against the adherents of communism itself? He's doing this as a ploy, folks. In the KGB, he was good at these types of black operations and coups and that sort of thing. That was his job. And let me explain to you what happened to the Soviet Union once it fell. Once the Soviet Union fell, they fell because they bankrupted themselves. They bankrupted themselves by over-militarization, spending humongous amounts of money on nuclear weapons, rocket technology, the space race, the whole works, okay? And that's what bankrupted their system, and that's why they collapsed. But just because they collapsed economically doesn't mean that the damn communist government is completely dismantled. They just went underground, folks. They went underground so that Boris Yeltsin, when he was the tenured supposed democratic leader of Russia, the communists, you know what they did? They just, like they always do, very patiently waited, and they allowed the Russian oligarchs to recapitalize the whole nation of Russia. And y'all remember, during the the 90s and even the early 2000s, there were a bunch of billionaires out of Russia. I mean, it was the Russian oligarchs that helped reestablish the Russian economy. And once Putin took power once again in the last election, what did he do? Well, he obviously took away freedom of the press. That's why RT is a state-run media at this point. He kicked out all American economic interests. He basically seized all the money that the Russian oligarchs had in their bank accounts in Russia. So really what happened was, folks, is that the Soviet Union went on the down low and allowed the oligarchs of Russia to recapitalize Russia so that the communists can take control of it again and just take the money. That's what communists do. They don't know how to make stuff. They don't know how to create anything. All they know how to do is steal. All they know how to do is steal other people's crap. So that's why I'm telling you, folks, all right? That's what Vladimir Putin is. He's the reestablished, recapitalized, new communist. You know, and did y'all read that Vladimir Putin, he's worth about $200 billion. Did y'all know that? Where did he get that $200 billion being a KGB secret agent and a bureaucrat? Huh? Where did he make $200 billion? He took it from the Russian oligarchs. He took it from the Russian people. He's a disgusting commie. Goddamn Vladimir Putin is a disgusting commie. That stupid Ruski bastard. That goddamn Ruski bastard. So that's why I'm saying, oh no, he's a Russian nationalist now. He's a Christian now, huh? What a bunch of crap. Freaking commies, man. I hate them. I hate commies. I hate communists. Give me the mic. Give me the mic. The only good communist is a goddamn dead communist as far as I'm concerned. I hate communists. Anyway, I'm just saying, folks, okay? I'm just saying this guy is a complete shill, if not at the bottom of the globalist system. And if he wasn't, he'd be much like North Korea. And that's another reason why I'm entertaining the idea of going back to the Joint Framework Agreement that was agreed to by Bill Clinton in 94. Because aside from Kim Jong-un being a sick maniac that we could have on our payroll, okay? I mean, this guy's not a part of the globalist system, man. I mean, Kim Jong-un has nothing to do with the globalist system. His state is his state. There is no central bank in North Korea. They don't acknowledge the United Nations. They don't acknowledge the World Court. They don't acknowledge any of these goddamn globalist institutions. Unlike Russia, That's why I'm saying, I mean, it seems like an entertaining deal. I mean, it's an isolationist country. I mean, you know, it could use our money, and not to mention Kim Jong-un, I think that he will stay loyal to America, because let's be honest, folks. Let's be honest. Kim Jong-un likes America. He was raised in a school in Switzerland, has an infatuation with basketball, is friends with Dennis Rodman. So, you know, there's some American qualities that Kim Jong-un appreciates. And that within itself can be a dialogue in which we can talk to Kim Jong-un and make him our personalized maniac in the Asian Peninsula. But aside from that, let's just say for the sake of argument that the Chinese move in on North Korea after North Korea becomes belligerent towards China and becomes a pain in China's ass. Let's just say for the sake of argument they send in their 5 million man army that everybody seems to be so afraid of. Let me tell you something about the Chinese army, okay? The Chinese army has been so secluded from the rest of the world, I mean so censored from the rest of the world, that the only perception that Chinese people have is whatever the communist government allows them to see via the boob tube. And the only thing right now that the communist government is allowing them to see is entertainment. Oh, my God, the Chinese people are such star fuckers, man. Excuse my French. They're such star fuckers. And that could be an easy way to psyop the entire Chinese military. While you've got these 5 million, 10 million men, Chinese people marching into war, you could just drop pamphlets in their native tongue saying, hey, drop your weapon and surrender and you get to meet Kobe Bryant. Oh, I'm not joking, folks. Do you all remember in the 2008 Olympics when the Chinese hosted the Summer Olympics, for Christ's sake? Kobe Bryant couldn't go anywhere without being mobbed like it was freaking Michael Jackson, for Christ's sake, man. People were trying to touch him. People were trying to get a hold of him. They just wanted a piece of Kobe. They treated Kobe like a god out there in China. You don't think that these Chinese people are so star-fetished that they could be psyoped to that degree? I'm telling you this right now, folks. The Chinese people have been secluded. They don't get sociality like we do. I mean, they only believe in what they see on the boob tube. I mean, they have so much censorship in the communist government of China that they're not going to know what a psyop is. They're not going to know that, hey, you know, Kobe Bryant, I mean, all those stars, they have an infatuation with basketball. So in my opinion, folks, I personally believe that China is not as big of a threat as they claim, but we do have to kind of isolate China, for a lack of a better term. All right, we got to isolate China, for a lack of a better term. Anyway, folks, we got about 25 minutes left in the broadcast here. Let me go ahead and take a sip of some, scotch. Cheers to all those folks out here that are listening. What's going on? And since, we're kind of taking a break from radio graffiti, how about we have some Twitter questions going on? And if you want to, ask yours truly a question, all you've got to do is direct a question at my Twitter account, Politics Ghost, all one word, no underscores, Politics Ghost, and we're going to go ahead and have a segment of questions for Ghost. Okay? Questions for Ghost right here. Go ahead and tweet at me a question, anything that you want to ask, and we'll go ahead and ask and answer them, all right? Somebody's asking me, I'm hearing about a bombshell emails released by WikiLeaks soon. Is that confirmed? I don't know if it's necessarily exclusively emails. It's a bunch of files. Be expecting something Russia-related here. If WikiLeaks won't release it, somebody's going to release it. So we shall see what happens there. Let's see. Who else do we have here? What would you have in government, dictatorship or monarchy? Neither. Are you kidding me? Neither. Jesus Christ. I mean, what kind of a question is that? Jesus Christ. Who else do we have here? I spoke about China. Is Mr. Fortune Cookie available? Jesus Christ. Why'd you remind me? Why'd you remind me, for Christ's sake? Anyway, let's go ahead and, I guess, bring up Mr. Fortune Cookie. We did talk shit about China, unfortunately, and I personally don't want to stop being broadcasted within the borders of China. So without any further, do we have this guy on the line, engineer? Well, get him on the line, because I don't want to be held accountable as it pertains to this idiot and not having his rebuttal on anything that I said about the communist government of China. So get him on the horn, all right? Get him on the horn. All right. Anyway, folks, we're trying to put Mr. Fortune Cookie on the horn here. We know that he is going to say a rebuttal of anything that has been said about the communist government of China in here. And the engineer is giving... What does this mean, engineer? Why are you waving your hand like this? All right, well... Anyway, without any further ado, folks, I think we've got Mr. Fortune Cookie. Are you there, sir? Oh.
You see, you motherfucker out there talking all kinds of garbage about the communist government of China. You don't know nothing, Ghost. You better watch your mouth and not talk garbage about the communist government of China. We're no paper tiger, Ghost. We're the new superpower of the world. We're the new superpower of the world, motherfucker. That's right. So all you stupid capitalist army America motherfucker, you need to take notice that the communist government of China own you, stupid motherfucker. We own all you motherfucker out there in America. And you people out there in America, you need to calm your ass down and don't even think about a trade war. Don't you even think about a trade war. No, you don't think about a trade war. If you think about a trade war with China, we're going to go to war with you. We're going to do a preemptive strike on you. That's right. So all you stupid capitalist army American motherfucker that are talking garbage about the communist government of China, you better watch your mouth, motherfucker. We're taking a yeast. We're taking a yeast and we're making sure that all you capitalist army motherfucker are going to be in a re-education camp. We're going to make sure all you capitalist army motherfucker are going to be in a re-education camp. And you want to know something? You want to know why we do what we do? You want to know why we do what we do? We do it for Chairman Mao. We do it for Chairman Mao. We do it for Chairman Mao. Oh no. Oh no, my stomach hurts. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, bad egg roll. Oh no. I got nothing else to say. But Ghost, you better sell a Mr. Fortune Cookie autograph, motherfucker. You better sell a Mr. Fortune Cookie autograph, or we're gonna come after you, capitalist army motherfucker. You sell Mr. Fortune Cookie autograph, or else, motherfucker. I got nothing else to say. I am Mr. Fortune Cookie. Thank you very much. All right, get his ass out of here, engineer. God damn it, get him out! Jesus Christ, that guy. I'm freaking sick of that guy, for Christ's sake, man. I'm freaking sick of that guy. Oh, my God. And what the hell is this guy talking about? What is this guy talking about? A freaking autograph of Mr. Freaking Fortune Cookie? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh, my God, man. What a stupid carpet munching Monday, for Christ's sake. I shouldn't even have brought up China. I shouldn't have even brought up China. And speaking of which, let's bring Mr. Optimism in here. We need a little bit of optimism. I need a little bit of optimism, for Christ's sake. Hey, engineer, do we have Mr. Optimism? All right. Well, hey, Mr. Optimism, can you take the helm for a second, man? I'm jaded, for Christ's sake, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm jaded. Here. Take the show. Hi. How's everybody doing out there? I'm Mr. Optimism, and I'd like for everybody to just think optimism. Be positive. Find happiness. Live joy. And you see, folks, this is the kind of life and the kinds of patterns that one needs to take in their lives, so that they can become truly optimistic. You see, if we all live in a world of despair and negativity, in a world in which we have self-doubt, self-loathing, we're never going to be able to get to the maximum amount of our capacity, of our human potential. And that's why me, as Mr. Optimism, I try to conjure up that optimistic fervor, that yearning, that burning sensation that's within your heart and soul that I know I can conjure. I know that I can conjure this up because the only thing that is preventing you from being the fullest you is you. And how you do that is you have to look at yourself in the mirror. And you have to say to yourself, I am optimistic. Think optimism. Be positive. Find happiness. Live joy. Repeat after me, folks, okay? Don't worry about anything. Just continue to be happy inside. Let's say that one more time, okay? Don't worry about anything. Just continue to be happy inside. Okay? And let's just repeat one more time, folks, because I'm telling you, I am conjuring up optimism within inside of you. I can feel it. I can feel the optimistic energy coming through this computer system right now as I speak. Once again, repeat after me, folks. Think optimism. Be positive. Find happiness. Live joy. Think optimism. Be positive. Find happiness. Live joy. Doesn't that feel better, folks? Doesn't that feel better to be a positive person? Repeat after me one more time. Don't worry about anything. Just continue to be happy inside. As a matter of fact, I feel so optimistic. I feel like taking a few calls right now in hopes of perpetuating optimism through conversation. Give me a call right now, 516-453-9903. And when I call on your area code, I want you to tell me if there's something wrong with you, if you have negativity, if you're suffering through some problems. I'm here for you because I'm Mr. Optimism. Let's go ahead and go to the phone lines, shall we? How about area code 831? How you doing?
Oh, hey, Mr. Optimism. How's it going?
How you doing there, sir?
I'm doing all right. You know, sometimes I get so frustrated at especially when it comes to uncertainty. When something happens and you have to wait for an answer, you have to go a few days or a few hours even just to figure out what's going to happen. And you just you just fixate on the outcomes and like trying to figure out an answer when in the end of the day you can't find an answer because you just have to wait, you know?
Well, unfortunately, patience is a virtue that no one really appreciates. And that's what everybody has to have at this point in time, especially in times of such despair, is patience. Because as long as you think optimism, be positive, find happiness, live joy, the goodness will fall upon you. It'll exude from you like an aura. You know, that's what they say about me. Whenever I walk into a room, they say that I have a very positive aura that radiates. And you see, it has nothing to do with any kind of special power or any kind of sorcery or anything to that capacity. I just believe in my happiness and my optimistic self. I live joy. And that's what I'm trying to perpetuate on this show right now. Let's continue going, shall we? How about area code, we got a lot of people that are anonymous here. How about 805? You're on the horn there. 805, you there? Oh, we got somebody who's afraid to talk. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with being afraid. It gives you an alertness of oneself. It gives you an appreciation of life, being afraid. There's nothing wrong with being afraid. It just shows one's care for one's own self-preservation. That's what being afraid is. And why not? Why not try to preserve oneself so that you can continue to wake up and be optimistic and happy and positive? Let's go ahead and continue going, shall we? How about area code 443? You're there?
Yes, listen, I think it's for the best of the ability that you should. I think those things you're furring up the broadcast. I think we should lay down a little bit. I don't know, but I think those may think you're furring up the broadcast. He might just get you off. So maybe we got to low things down a little bit. I don't know.
Oh, well, I know you don't know. Unfortunately, you did not have the proper education to facilitate a complete sentence. But that's nothing to get pessimistic about. All you've got to do is go on to maybe something like Google Translate, or hell, why don't you even watch the Police Academy movies to try to better articulate your vocabulary, okay? And then maybe you can be optimistic as myself, you can be positive, you can find happiness and live joy, okay? How about 616? Hi.
Hi, Mr. Autism. Oh, shit, sorry, I can't even talk today. Hey, Mr. Autism, what's up, man?
I'm doing just fine. I'm being very optimistic and positive. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I was wondering, did anyone ever tell you that you sound prettier than Milo?
And what is that supposed to mean exactly?
I mean, I'm just saying.
Can't articulate yourself?
Like when
yeah, exactly. Can you remove this person, please, like you're removing a kebab? Now, did you hear that, sir? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? I mean, when I attempted to try to have a dialogue with this person, he had nothing to say. And you see, that's because there's nothing but pessimism and negativity in that person's heart. The only thing that was the focal point of his mindset was to try to take the happiness out of me, to take the joy out of me, to take the optimism out of me. And you're not going to take the positivity out of me. I'm positive, okay? I'm positive. And I'm proud to be positive. There's nothing wrong with being positive. You should embrace being positive. Anyway, how about area code 267? You there?
Hello, Mr. Optimism. It's Eeyore. I know Ghost and I have had our differences, but listening to you always puts a smile on my face. I'm a little upset right now because, well, my job as a short bus driver only pays minimum wage. And I still can't figure out how to use eBay. I'm trying to conjure up the confidence to break past my barriers. What do you do?
Well, I'm glad that you actually brought this up, Eeyore, and I'm very, very aware of the discontent between you and a few members of Ghost's Inner Circle and Ghost himself. And I think that what you need to do there, Eeyore, is you need to embrace one's self-individuality. I hate to regurgitate exactly what Ghost said here earlier in the broadcast, but embracing individuality and understanding that you are a different person and you don't have to be like anybody else, and you can be who you are, and you have to find out who you are, Eeyore. You have to realize that you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, look, who am I? What am I? What do I want? And if you don't know how to answer that question, think of it like this. Think of it like if a genie came out of a lantern and said that they were going to grant you any wish you wanted, any wish, any kind of life you would want. You should be able to answer that. And whatever it is, that is what you should attempt to attain.
Over 90% of all Fortune 500 companies share one thing in common. You can find a Veridesk on their desks. Here's why. Research says sitting is the new smoking. But people who stand more and sit less say their back feels better and that they're more productive. Veridesk is crafted to last a lifetime. It's height adjustable and there's no assembly. All the details are at Veridesk.com. VARIdesk.com. The original Veridesk. Join the movement.
Calling the 2017 Mercedes-Benz GLA simply a compact SUV is like describing a cathedral as just 4 walls and a ceiling. The GLA is both a beautiful work of design and one of the most functional SUVs in its class, and it's available at an exceptional price. Why drive any compact SUV when you could be driving the 2017 Mercedes-Benz GLA? Visit MBUSA.com/GLA to learn more. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
And I hope that helps, Eeyore, because I don't think Ghost really hates all of those people on the short bus. He's just very disappointed in you guys. He had high expectations for you fellers. And he was very optimistic about you guys on the short bus. And unfortunately, you disappointed Ghost. And, he's not very optimistic, old Ghost. As a matter of fact, he's a very angry person. And, once you betray Ghost, once you make Ghost look kind of, for a lack of a better term, stupid, he doesn't really forgive or forget that very easy. Now, I'm actually trying to talk to Ghost to make him a little bit more optimistic. But unfortunately, the world has given Ghost a bad hand, and he's made lemonade out of lemons. And because of that, he has a lot of resentment towards the world, has a lot of resentment towards people, and that's why he never gives anybody, the benefit of the doubt. And maybe that's Ghost's detriment. Maybe that's to his benefit. But regardless, I'm trying to talk to Ghost. It's a very hard, difficult character. He's a very strong man. Ghost, you have to understand, he literally was kind of just thrown out in the street by his parents, told him to go make something of himself. He didn't have any kind of trust funds. He didn't have any kind of business that was left over. He didn't have anything. And lo and behold, he made something out of nothing, while the world was doing nothing but spitting in his face. And you got to give Ghost a little bit of credit, because even amidst all that tragedy and turmoil and obstacles, he was able to overcome all the adversity that was coming towards his way, all the bad luck, everything going towards his way. He was able to conquer it. And I respect the man for that. But as far as Ghost having a little bit of more compassion, a little bit more optimism, I'm trying. I'm definitely trying with Ghost. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave it here, okay? I'm going to let Ghost close out the show. I believe the engineer is giving me one of these hand signals, which I believe do I have like 5 minutes? There's only 5 minutes left in the show? Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Ghost, but I would like everybody to remember that I'm Mr. Optimism, and I'd like for everybody to think optimism. Be positive. Find happiness. Live joy. And, I would like to also tell Ghost, if you could, try not to sell Mr. Fortune Cookie's autograph. Try to sell Mr. Optimism's autograph. And I'll be sure to give somebody, and everybody who buys an optimistic autograph, I will give them an optimistic message that will boost their soul, that will boost their ambitions, it'll boost their self-worth. Anyway, folks, I am going to go ahead and step away from here. I would encourage Ghost not to sell Mr. Fortune Cookie's autograph and sell Mr. Optimism. I want to show that I love all of you. I love all of you. And it doesn't matter if you hate me. It doesn't matter if you don't like me. It doesn't matter if you spit in my face, talk about my mama, kick me in the balls. I still love you. Anyway, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and I will go ahead and give it to Ghost. Ghost, go ahead and here you go. All right, thank you very much. All right, Jesus Christ. Everybody wants to sell their autograph all of a sudden. Everybody wants to sell their goddamn autograph. What the? Look, folks, all right, look, we got about 5 minutes left 2 minutes left, actually, in the broadcast, all right? I want to say first and foremost, thanks to everybody who's listening to this broadcast. Look, I'm not getting rid of Radio Graffiti. I'm just gonna randomly have it, and you just got to be listening to find it and to catch it. That's all there is to it. All right? I mean, that's all there is to it. You're just gonna have to listen to see if I'm having Radio Graffiti from now on. How do you like that? How do you like that? Woo! How do you like that, there, boy? How do you like that? You're going to have to listen. You're going to have to listen to the show if you want Radio Graffiti. You're going to have to listen to what I say. You're going to have to listen. As a matter of fact, let's do 1 minute of Radio Graffiti. How about that? 1 minute of Radio Graffiti, and it starts right now. Anonymous Radio Graffiti. Helen Keller deaf mute. How about Anonymous Radio Graffiti? Oh, hey, well, what's going on here? Did y'all hear this? Oh, Christ, no! It's tornadoes in San Antonio.
Attention citizens, the Autism tornado is getting closer to San Antonio. For your own safety, you better hide in your basements if you're not too fat to get in.
We're all gonna die!
Unfortunately, Templeton and Mrs. Ghost.
You see, you see, that's why I don't do this crap. You see it? God damn it, you African booty scratcher son of a bitch! Screw you! Screw you! Screw you! I freaking hate that guy! The first call, God damn it, and I just freaking said that. I just freaking said that, for Christ's sake. Give me the mic. You know what? Screw you people. I knew I couldn't go a Monday without you idiots carpet munching this son of a bitch. Jesus Christ. You know what? Follow me on Twitter, Politics Ghost, all right? All one word, no underscores, Politics Ghost. Get this mic out of my fucking face. Damn it!